Good morning.
Welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy 2025.
2025. Crazy.
I know. There's something I really like about 2025. It sounds cool.
As a number?
Yes.
I also like it visually.
Yes.
Yeah.
More than and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, well, we've had 2024, 2023. Like, how come they weren't great? But I really like the 2025.
I think you and I have talked about this a little bit from an astrological point of view. You and I are good this year. Like, It's a good year for both of us. So it's like 2025 for... It sounds nice and it looks good, but I also feel like some tiny part of both of us are like 2025. Not that 2024 was disastrous by any means, but you know.
No. Although it's not starting great. No. So I'm sick still. If anybody's on my Instagram, I've been posting. It was like, still sick. This is day 14.
Oh my God.
Day 14.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I apologize in advance for any kind of coughing. For my voice, if you're new here, I don't normally sound so like sultry. I should be singing, some jazz right now. But I don't usually feel like sing whatever like this. And my brain's just not really here. So that's not that chaos.
It's not that different. I'm like, oh.
But it might be a little worse than
normal. Right.
What are we? Who are we?
Yeah.
What do we do?
This is
the Knitting a Good Yarn podcast.
My name's Jackie.
I'm Carmen.
And we're coming to you from Southern Ontario. This is it's a fibery podcast, I would say, primarily knitting, although we do spin, and that finds its way in every so often. Quite chatty, quite tangential.
Yes.
Podcast.
We like to just chat about things, and we see you. So we're obviously in my kitchen, at my kitchen table, and the phone is here, but it's as if you guys are literally right on the other side of our table. So that's just kind of how we roll. We do not edit. There will be no fun special effects of sweaters popping up or the whatevers. It's one shot. So we just go for a long time, usually 3 hours. And there's show notes that Jackie does.
So
chapters.
Yes. Because we're a one-shot podcast, often we will forget to mention things because we get exuberantly excited about talking and then forget things like the designer or the yarn, so on and so forth. So we do make show notes, and if there's anything that we didn't mention that you want to know about, just leave us a comment and I will do my very best to get that information for you and pop it up in the show notes, because the show notes are like a collective endeavor these days.
I know, and you're also wonderful, and we always say it, but your comments are we read every single one. We can't always respond to every one of them, but we read every one, and each time it just literally lights up our lives. So even just the smallest thing you write is really, thank you.
One of my favorite things, I love the comments that come in when we post a new episode, but I feel how old is this podcast? 2.5 years. I don't know what the YouTube algorithm did, but I feel like we have had a infusion of folks who are either new to the podcast or going back or somehow, because the number of comments that we've gotten about previous episodes in the past month have been higher than usual. And it's been so much fun to kind of because it takes us back, right?
Totally. I go back and I rewatch it because I'll somebody will say something about a particular sweater or something, and then I just watch the whole episode again because it honestly, we have so much fun. And then just watching it again, I'm like, I laugh at the same things.
I know. Our plan was actually to have a podcast in around the holiday time, I think, and before dear Carmen got sick.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't get my 3-hour infusion of Carmen because she's bedridden, which is terrible. So not to make it about me. However, I was like, I'm just gonna watch our old podcast episodes and then feel happy about it. And that's what I did.
I watched those too. I did. It's really great. So yes. So thank you. Is that all the technical stuff?
I think that's all the admin stuff. So Carmen and I were talking just before this just before we turned this on, about okay, what are we doing today? And ordinarily we show you new finished objects and what we're working on, and then go on random tangents about knitting and life and so on and so forth. And I feel today is going to be even more random. We do have objects to, like some FOs and some whips to show you. We also, however, are surrounded by like most of what we knit last year.
Yes.
So we might do a little favorite section, maybe yes, maybe no.
Should.
Yeah. Okay.
I love those ones, and I think what I love the most, well, what we did last year was to talk about like how much we actually wore things, you know, like once you've had it for a while, what actually gets worn, what, you know, like that to me is like really fun to know.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would be good for us to.
Yeah, I think also for me, it was like, I definitely don't have all the objects because I like frantically was like, where is everything that I've knit about 1 hour ago? And I'm like very late.
How many hats?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's something really like satisfying about like laying everything out. Like it was interesting for me to look at like color story and so on and so forth. Oh, yeah. I had a thought that as I was driving over that I was like, if I could rewind, this is what I would like to do, but maybe we can like continue to do it, or we can do it next year, which is like, I think we talked about when we did favorites last year, we talked about like what was worn the most and what was worn the least. And I think we also went through like favorite like category, like I don't know, like favorite sock, favorite hat, favorite mitten. I think we might have done a little bit of that. Again, our favorites, which I watched.
I should have watched that.
I was like, oh, this was completely disorganized. It's not like we like went through and we're like, you know, the people who were like, here are all the things that I did, and the like amazing. There's so many amazing episodes of makers doing that. But I was curious about like, what are the categories or the favorites that people want to hear about?
Oh.
Right? Like, like beyond favorite sweater, or like most worn sweater or least worn. Are there certain things that you, like certain categories of favorites that you want to hear about that maybe outside of the like object item? Because I feel like that's what we do, and that's what a lot of our like favorite makers do. But I'm the kind of person who wants to know specific things. It would be like, what's the thing that you are apt to reach for when you're like having a bad day and you just want to be cozy? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know?
And I think, some of it actually does play in, because some of the things that I have, I love, but I don't even touch them because of something about how they are that it's not, I don't have a reason for that one.
Yeah. So, if you have, like, we'll go through our favorites, maybe, we'll go through some of them, but if there's anything that you think of in terms of, like, you want to know what our favorite blank is, like, leave us a comment, and then we'll, like, come back and we'll do it, over the course of the next couple of episodes. I think that might be a little bit fun. Mm-hmm. Because I did have a thought as I was, like, pulling out all of my favorites. I was like, okay, I get it. I get that, like, it's the end of the year and it's the turn of like the calendar and it's like 2025. And so like, it makes sense to do a retrospective, right? Absolutely. Like that's like the vibe of this time of year. At the same time, I'm like, I feel like it's not fair for me to retrospective the stuff that I knit in the fall season.
That's what I feel like too.
You know?
Because we have not had enough
time. And I was thinking like, if I were to place this like, you know, 1 year retrospective in the calendar in a way that makes sense for like a knitter, as opposed to a knitter in North America, like as opposed to like the calendar year. I feel like we should be doing this in the summer. Yep. I feel like it's like in August, or like in like it should be like a summer retrospective, because you will have, like for me, we'll have, and you knit a lot of summer tops this year. But generally speaking, I feel like many of us who are knitters like knit for the colder weather. And so if you were to do it in the summer, you're actually like reflecting on what you wore throughout the seasons of like knitwear. And also, I kind of feel like fall is the new year for knitters, right?
Well, and it's the new year to me in general.
In general, me too.
January is not as much a start as September is for me. So I love this idea. So I think we do it maybe in like August. Yeah. And then whatever we're doing will be inspiring, as you're saying, for like the next fall. Because now we've got actually like almost a year for some things.
Yeah. And it also, I feel like it will, for me, it's like, it's a great time to look back and think about what I want to do next, because like fiber season explodes. Like we go to New York Sheep and Wool, and so it's like, what am I going to get there? And like all of the, like a lot of the mill runs are like coming around at that time. So
I like it.
In any case, we'll do it now anyway, but I just wanted to put out there.
And I think too, I was thinking to myself, even when I was pulling out all my stuff from this year, and I'm not even sure if I got it full, like I'm missing things for sure, but I might even have things that I knit last year thinking that this was within this year. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I in so doing, I was passing over ones I know I didn't knit this year, but that I wear all the time. And I almost feel like I want to, like, we should have times where we bring them back
in. Like a 5-year retrospective.
Well, just because, like, if that's made, you know, there are some, like that pressed flowers cardi is like, that is a staple. I almost wore it again today. Just like, that's the one I pull out when I'm like, oh, I just need something, you know?
Yeah.
I just forgot. I forgot one. Anyway, I'll have to grab it.
Oh, I know exactly which one you're talking about. Okay. so we might do some favorites. We'll do our like usual stuff. And then we have gotten our act semi together. Actually, we've done absolutely nothing. Wait, why are you pointing at me?
Because you organized it. I didn't even bring it up.
Oh yeah.
Today.
So last year we tried to do a knit along. I can't even remember, was it a year of Junko? Which sort of started.
Did?
I did knit a lot of Junko, and I feel like I will just continue to knit her because I just love what she does. However, we were thinking about a knit along that maybe people would want to
actually do.
That will actually do, and that that you all might be interested in doing. And so we have settled this year on doing a Marie Wallin.
I am very excited about this one. I came along on the Junko one, not because I don't love her stuff, but it, like, I don't know, it wasn't like Marie Wallin has been from the beginning. Yeah. Like, you just, and I'm pretty sure most people will have looked at a Marie Wallin pattern and said, one of these days.
I think I feel like Marie Wallin for you is Junko Okamoto for me. Like, there are just these designers that I think are like aspirational, that they're like, I think of them as like investment knits. Like, I think of them as like, this is like, it's something special, like, and it's going to take some time and so on and so forth. And part of this came from the amazing feedback that we got from you all in response to
my sweater.
Your Carmen's 2B sweater, the Seaton sweater by Marie Wallin out of the book Erin, which we knit out of Newton, and I'll like link it, link the episode down below. However, we had people were really excited about the possibility of knitting the Seaton, and then people were like, oh, but I started this Marie Wallin and like it's just like languishing, and like could we do something other than Erin? And we were like, you know, it's knitting a good yarn. like parameters is not something that we do. It's just like whatever. So I think the idea is that we are going to invite you all, those of you who would like, to knit a Marie Wallin pattern this year. And it doesn't need to be a garment. She has a ton of accessories, which I think would be really, really fun in terms of, you know, doing a small project, your first fair owl or not fair owl. She also has a lot of like texture and cables, even though I totally think of her predominantly as like fair owl with 10 colors kind of thing. But let us know if that's something that you would be interested in doing. And we have not thought of a name.
For sure.
We're going to do it.
Yes. And I think in our first cowl, we were like, well, whips are totally fine if you've started it, totally, but whether you finish it or not. And this one, I think we should actually have like finished objects. And the reason I say that is because it's so aspirational, and so one of these things that like you just may not finish. If like I would need it,
you need the deadline.
I need the deadline.
You need the deadline. Okay.
So I feel like we should have that.
Okay, so the plan is, this is a year of Marie Wallin. We have not thought of a hashtag. Help us with a hashtag.
Some people gave us really good ones in the comments, so I will look back on, like, because there was, I think, a Wallin along or something. It was cute. They were cute ones.
Yeah, so help us out with the catchy name. But essentially anything Marie Wallin with the intention to finish it by December 31st, 2025.
2025.
2025.
Jeez.
Yeah. I have plans. I have plans in terms of what I'm going to do. But
oh my God, Frisco's lying
Sorry,
on her
Frisco's
big pile.
I have a giant pile of all of my knits, and he's just snuggled right in there.
I even
so
put a blanket
cute
for him over here, but he's like, no, this. God.
But yeah, maybe we'll talk about like what those plans are. I don't know what you're planning to do. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it depends if I get your Seaton.
You are gonna get my seat. Okay, let's just talk about it. All right. Oh, sorry.
God, I love this sweater so much. I can't make it better.
So,
sorry.
This is the Seaton sweater from Erin, and I knit it, and it is like arguably one of my most worn. Let's talk about like most worn.
I can't.
This is yes, you can. This is one of my like I cast it off in October, and this has become like easily one of my most worn sweaters. Over like a short period of time. I mean, part of it is that it's super gorgeous. Part of the reason I've been wearing the heck out of it is because the crowd has spoken, and this is actually Carmen's sweater. And I was like, okay, I gotta like get all of the wear out of this sweater. I know. Before I gift it over to Carmen. But this will become yours because my plan is, this is highly not so inspired, but my plan is to use this Seaton pattern to knit with the same colorways, but I'm gonna sub the color work. Like I'm not gonna do the same charts as I did here.
Cool.
And once I have done that, then this will become yours. It will.
Oh
it is almost yours.
I didn't even know. If you go back and watch this episode, like you will see the love connect. It was like when you were wearing it, because I've seen her wear it. We went to Rhinebeck and you were wearing it. I loved it. It was so beautiful, but it wasn't like I was like, I must. And then I put it on and it was like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's how I felt about it as well. I was like, excuse me, like what just happened? Like it's Carmen's sweater. It's just game over. So I went through my stash and I like weighed out all of the remaining because I did like Newton scraps. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can do it. I might need to add like 1 or 2 colors, but I'm gonna keep the same color scheme.
I love that.
But sub the a different set of charts. So my plan. So what I will say about this pattern, for those of you who like don't remember word for word everything that we talk about, what I'll say really quickly about this is that this is knit bottom up and it's steeked. So you're basically knitting like a gigantic tube with steeks that you establish for the armholes, and then you pick up around the arm holes and you knit down. And so there's a little bit of shoulder, there's a little section here, you can see that the shoulders are sloped, where you are knitting the color work flat, but it's like, it's literally like this big.
Right.
And then you seam across the top. But one of the reasons I'm like confident that I can use, that I can sub out charts for this is because when you think about it, you're essentially knitting a rectangle and then a tube. There is some sleeve decreases. We'll see if I do them or not.
Yeah, I mean, they happened underneath. I never worry about that stuff very much.
Like, it's really not perfect.
Yeah.
Even in the pattern. So what it means is that basically I'm looking through this book and another book of hers that I have, and she has actually some free patterns that are available online. I'm looking through to basically find charts that have a certain number of like repeats. So let's say to fit. So like if you find something that has a 16 stitch repeat, then it would be really quite easy to sub into this pattern. And
what's the reasoning? Why do you want to change the pattern?
Well, because I'm using exactly the same colors because I actually don't think I can do better than this. Like I looked at my stash and I was like, okay, Jackie, like put together a like new color combination. And I was just like, all I want is this color combo. Like
so good.
What I love about the sweater is a couple of things. One is that the weight, it's Newton single stranded for the most part. And it just is the most delightful, perfect weight. It has this beautiful. Like, it's like wide, but it's a little bit cropped, but the arms are long. It's just like the perfect, coziest sweater. And I love the color combination so much. So I can't see myself knitting the exact same sweater in the exact same color combination. Like in as much as I loved it and in as much as I loved twinning with you, I was like, I think I will like run out of steam. So what I actually am thinking about doing, I'll link some things below. She has some really beautiful cowl patterns.
Oh.
But I'm thinking about taking like the charts from the cowl pattern and doing it because it's going to be a tube. The other thought process that I had was to see if I can hack the Yell cardigan, which is really like my Marie Wallin like magnum opus. Like if I thought about doing one, that would be the one.
I know.
Then I have thought about, you know, taking those motifs and subbing it into here.
Cool.
Because
maybe I should. I've been thinking about that one too. As being
the Yell.
It's so beautiful.
It is so beautiful. Let me pull it up. There she is. Yeah. This is the Yell cardigan by Marie Wallin. It's so stunning. So there's like all of this like color work at the bottom that I was like, I could use that in the scene. This bottom color work motif, I wouldn't sub like the whole thing, but maybe I could do like from here down. Yeah. Could be a sweater. But this is the Yell. And I love this sweater so much. However, not this version. So Nicole of the Gentle Knitter podcast, who made a return back to YouTube in a little episode with on Fiber Trek, she knit a version of the Yell using like Stash, Jameson and Smith, like Shetland, but she did it was basically all blues and grays. Okay. With like a little bit of, you know, little touch here and there. And I would have never looked at this cardigan and been like, I want to knit it, but I want to knit Nicole's. And Nicole, we'll link it below. She actually put the colorway names. So I feel like if I'm going to do the magnum opus of the Yell, the whole thing, I'm going to do the Nicole version.
In the same
sort of yarn, neutral kind of situation. So those are my thoughts around Marie Wallin. But first is my Seaton number 2. So that this can go to its rightful owner. Yeah. So Marie Wallin my way, you know?
I like it.
Okay. Let's talk about some objects. Yeah. She did like all the admin up top.
I know.
That's strange.
I know.
I feel like that's probably a good idea because our brains are just gonna like and whereas this time goes by.
I don't know. I'm starting like, with basically nothing. Can I say when I was sick, I remember I've like read, you know, people say things like I was too sick to knit. And every time I would read that, I would be like, what? Like how is that possible to be too sick to knit? Like you're just lying there. Like how could you? I was too sick to knit for 2 or 3 days. I couldn't hold my hands up for sure, but there was also my brain was not there.
The fog is real, huh?
And I would just stare. I was just in my bed just staring, and I'm like, I'm just staring, but I can't do anything else.
Did you return, when you start to feel better, did you return to knitting or did you return to spinning?
Spinning first,
yeah.
Spinning was that, like I did my Melly Knits Advent, and she was doing a thing after, between Christmas and New Year's.
Like a little make-along called Dashel Through the Snow.
It was so cute.
Yeah, super
and
cute.
There was something about that I was like, I can do this. This was once I could sit upright because I could spin lying down.
It's interesting because do you have, like, I feel like I always have a stockinette project going on. So in my head, like when I thankfully was not ill, but I definitely have had periods of time in which I've like had a really intense like work period or just like life is really busy and I get home at the end of the day and it would normally be my knitting time, but I just feel like I just can't do it.
Interesting.
And so I always have a stockinette project which gets worked on like in a very like casual way in those moments where I'm like, oh, it's like my car knitting and also like I only have enough spoons to stare at the wall right now, but I want my hands to be moving. Yeah. But I feel like you don't knit anything, like generally speaking, the knits that you like to do are like engaged. this
was what I was working on, the yoke of this.
So like, of course, if you're like, I have only, I'm sick and I only want to stare at the wall. Like this is the last thing that one could possibly want to.
I did have another one.
God, it's so beautiful.
But yes,
oh my God.
I just couldn't.
Yeah. In any case, can we start with the sweater, please?
Let's start with
because
the sweater.
Thank you.
Now, caveat, it is not, I finished this morning. I was dying trying to get this thing like done. You know, binding it off. I was saying to Jackie, like it took, I'll tell you the stats and stuff, but it took just over 2 skeins of mohair. So it's mohair and another thing held together. But I didn't want to like wind a whole other like skein of mohair. So I'm like, I hardly need anything. So I just like pulled off like a few rounds of it. And I was like, oh, that's enough. No, it wasn't. It wasn't enough.
So you like put it on your Swift and then you like hand wound.
I just even just held it out.
Oh
like
gosh.
I just put it, you know, like you undo it and it's just a loop. And I just like wound it onto my hand and I'm like, this will be enough. But no, it wasn't. So then I'm so, like, I'm trying to do this. I'm like, oh my God. So then I had to pull it all out again, do some more. And then that meant like weaving in those ends and on top of it all.
Still, I'm pretty impressed.
Thank you.
Pretty impressed. It's so beautiful.
It is.
I can't imagine how beautiful it's going to be after it's blocked.
I know.
Oh
so
my God.
This is, it's called the Tulips, I think. It is a test knit that I just did for the wonderful Rachel Illsley from Unwind Knitwear. I know, this is so Rachel. I have loved her patterns from the beginning, and I used to, I tested.
You might have stuff for her.
At least a couple, maybe 3.
Yeah.
But it's been years. And I remember actually seeing her at Cakepalooza last year. And I was like, oh my God, like she was wearing something and I'm like, oh my God, I need to knit your stuff. And I've been wanting to like knit her things even all that time. And anyway, this test knit came up and there was just some moment, right, where it was like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. This beautiful, like lacy V-neck.
Perfection.
It is so beautiful. Oh, you know what? I promise I will block it and I'm going to show it on our next episode, actually fully blocked, because it's all going to open up and just be so drapey. But oh my God, like look at this construction. So, you know.
What is the construction?
God, I don't know. You start, what is it? Like it's like contiguous, I think. You start up at the back. You're like,
do you pick up over the shoulder?
You pick up here, you pick up here, then you pick up from here, I think, and work it down. This is doing this cool, like,
this sleeve thing.
Look at this sleeve.
It's like a drop shoulder / contiguous, right? Because you're doing back and then you're picking up the front panels, but then at some point it goes in the round? No? Yes?
It was in the round.
Early.
A flat. How were we doing this? It was flat for a long time. Flat for a very long time. Yes, until here.
Until there.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Gosh, the shoulder is
Isn't
so beautiful.
When I put it on, I was like, look at how beautifully that sits. I should have worn black under it so you could kind of see the whole thing. But I just think it's really, really pretty.
It's perfect.
So yeah, so you're knitting it like flat, you go down. So she had options to this to make the neckband lower, which I took. I did that. And then, but I realized I picked up the same amount of stitches for the original. So I might have a higher one because of that.
It's actually perfect though.
It is perfect,
like,
right?
As a V-neck, I feel like one of the things about V-necks is finding the right slope V-neck for different bodies. I feel like is like not an easy thing, and it has to do with like stitch gauge and row gauge. And I would say like I'm always a little reticent to knit a V-neck because I feel like the couple that I have, or like even if I think about V-neck cardigans, I'm like, okay, like the way that, because my row gauge is like large, it always ends up like
too long,
too low that you're wearing something underneath. And then I don't love when you have like a V and then like a tank across if it's like a pullover, but that it's just sitting perfectly.
I really have to say, I put this sweater on and it was one of those things, like, I mean, as I say, it's not even been blocked yet. I steamed it a little bit, but it not fully blocked. But it actually, like, it was immediately perfect.
Yeah.
Like, look at where everything sits.
Everything is laying perfectly.
Yeah. So it's just, I mean, it was a really lovely knit to do. And there were some issues. So mine is going to be, I think it's like, I made some mistakes in it, but it all worked out fine. So I don't think any of my mistakes would make it so that I just happened along a better fit than it would have been. So I think it's going to be, the original is going to be as good, if not better. But just in terms of stitch counts, we weren't quite understanding things and it was a little confusing, but now Rachel has that all. That's the thing with test knitting, right? Is that the pattern improves even more. So it was just a really lovely knit. It was really lovely. And it's an 18 stitch gauge. So it goes faster. Actually, I cast this on, I'd have to look back, but it's something like the 17th or something.
Of December.
Yeah, maybe the 21st.
Of December.
Yeah. It was
Plus
very
illness.
fast. Plus illness.
Wow.
It really went fast.
I want it.
Yes. Yeah. I've knit it in, of course, I mean, like what? Anyone who's been here? What did I think again? What do you think? What do you think? Our favorite Sonder Yarn Co. It's fingering, so the 4-ply plus mohair, the Halo.
Is this drop dead gorgeous
yes.
in 5 o'clock somewhere?
That's what it is. That's what it is. This was actually a kit, so typical Carm. I had bought this kit. This was when she was putting them together for the Rib Wave pullover that we both test knit for Joanna Ang. And I literally bought 2 more kits because I was like, I want to knit another one of those, and I will. I
love this color.
I love this color. Isn't it really, really pretty?
It's such a pretty color. Actually, I'm gonna hang on.
It's a little more rusty.
Quick, like
here.
outfit change.
Ooh.
And talk. I'm having a color moment. Give me a second.
Cool.
Keep talking.
I'm sorry. I keep looking at myself because I think that.
Because you're so darn beautiful in your sweater.
Well, that's very nice. I'm not. Thank you. I'm not looking up here. I'm looking here at the. There is something about lace on shoulders.
Yes.
That is so pretty.
So
Isn't
pretty.
that just like gorgeous? It's making me think again, like I should have put a lighter tank top underneath it.
Okay.
That's not what I was expecting you were
doing.
doing.
Okay, I'll show you. Keep talking about this sweater. Have you stood up? You stood up and showed the people?
I can do a little bit more. Yeah. This is, okay, so this is going to be one of those sweaters that I can wear like to work and stuff. Like,
yeah, it's a nice length, hey?
It's a nice length. It's just a little bit like classy, but
it
not
is.
like
I love it. It's like it's so I feel like I find lace challenging personally. I think it's related to my bro gauge. I tried to knit the Ica, which Carmen.
Oh yes, I love this one. I wear this one all the time too.
I tried to knit the Ica. And Carmen knit this in like 1 strand of Suri lace alpaca, and I tried to knit it in a lace weight merino plus 2 strands of mohair.
Oh.
And it looked like a dog's breakfast. Like, because everything was so like big and gapey and like not in a good way.
Right.
And so I struggle with lace looking like polished, and that's because of my bro gauge, not because of like lace patterns. But I feel like you've just like hit it perfectly on something that is like, including the color, it's like, it's elegant, it's like work appropriate, it also can be dressed up or dressed down, but it has like enough lace interest to elevate it in terms of how elegant it is.
Yes.
But this is a beautiful pattern that has like really nice lines, and you're not worried about, you know, like, what undergarment am I wearing underneath, which can happen with some lace stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah, maybe because a lot of times like lace things that
often
are
is
around
like right here.
Yeah, like the love note and things, like you kind of like are figuring out what to wear, whereas this is the lace all the way down, right?
Yeah.
So like
so gorgeous.
it's just like
the fit is so
pretty. Good. It is so good.
And twisted rib.
Oh, and so my fit, I knit the size 4. I usually knit a size 2 to 3. But I don't know but the measurements weren't like extra. I went a little bit larger than I thought I would have thought I would want. There's more positive ease, but I don't feel like it looks like there's more positive ease.
It's because because of the shoulder construction.
Yeah, you're right, because that just feels
the shoulder
like it
construction, it's like fitted here, but there's like room around the bust, I guess.
And I should say that actually the size 3 and 4 are the same for a lot of this.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to make your decision. I don't even think I made my decision until splitting for sleeves, potentially, or right around there.
So beautiful.
It's so beautiful. This yarn combo we've used 1,000 times. I mean, like, oh, I left my rib wave upstairs too. Come on, Car. Anyway, that there's just a. Do you have it like when you don't have one here either?
I don't.
What the hell?
I haven't done this yet. I don't really know why or how, but
Why the heck don't I have anything? Anyway, woo! Almost fell off. Anyway, it's just the perfect combo. So the Sonder
it's a fingering
yarn,
plus a mohair.
fingering but plus mohair, but it's the 4-ply is BFL, 75% BFL and 25% masham, non-superwash. And there's just a different feel to it. And then the Halo, Melissa's Halo, like mohair is the best mohair we've like ever used. We're not just, we don't get any, we pay for everything ourselves. We don't work for her, even though we get to go to her.
We work in her booth,
we work
but
in her booth for
her.
Yeah, I just love it so much. Like truly, it's just the best. So it was really nice to knit something. I mean, I know I love this as it is, and then I know it's going to get even better. Although even as I'm looking at it, I'm like,
if I were like, if it were my sweater, I don't know that I would block it.
I think
like I might block the
sleeves. Yeah.
Like I really think I don't know, but it's just so like the fit is so perfect, and I mean I'm somebody who pretty consistently believes in a wet block because I do think the wet block is magic, but sometimes with Sonder, like I find when I knit with Sonder, it grows, my row gauge grows after blocking, like in a relatively significant way. Again, it's because I'm loose in my row gauge. So when I look at this, I'm like, oh my God, it's so perfect. I don't think you get as much growth as I do.
I don't get as much, but I will get some, which I'd actually like kind of been thinking of. But even just the little steam blocking, definitely made it a little. Like,
I mean, what I'll say is like looking at it, I think the lace is good. I don't think that the lace is like sometimes you knit lace and it doesn't feel like it's opened up, but I think the lace is really gorgeous.
Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it.
I mean, I think there's the possibility that you wear it like this for a while, and then you can take it for a walk afterwards
at some point.
But I also think the other thing that I've noticed, especially around garments that are knit at a bit of a looser gauge, and like not that this is a loose gauge, right? Like 18 in my head is DK, and you've done fingering plus mohair, which is a common like DK sub, right? But when I think about knitting with like plain DK versus like fingering and mohair. Which gives you like a little bit more draper movement. I do feel like the garment shapes a little bit more, and it's sort of with that, even without blocking for some of the things that that I'll show, like with wear, it kind of like finds its shape and it finds drape. And it's not that I think that it gets longer necessarily, but it does sort of like gravity helps it to settle in a way that like a DK cabled knit, like if you didn't wet block that thing, it would just be like forever.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
I do. I think I'm gonna leave it. I think it's just actually,
and it also speaks to the yarn, like to Melissa's yarn, which we love because it is a chameleon in terms of like it just like
can do anything you want.
When you look at it like in the skein, because I have never knit with it. Because in my head, fingering plus mohair, it's not going to give me like an 18 stitch gauge until you started knitting with it and getting an 18 stitch gauge. Because when I've knit with the fingering solo, like I get like 24, and I was like, how am I going to get like 6 extra stitches with mohair? But it just like blooms and fills in.
Yes.
It has it's like a naturally drapey fabric.
It is amazing.
The way that, like, when you knit it at that larger gauge.
We've shown this one from before, but I think this is something like an 18 stitch gauge with no mohair.
I mean, you knit on a size 7. You knit a fingering weight yarn on a size 7, which to me is like, and it's not gappy or gapey at all. It's not like,
fills itself out. Oh, that's what I mean. This stuff, it's like knitted in that way that you can, I think there's also something, we've talked about this before, but when a yarn combo. Like I actually even didn't swatch for this, not that I would normally, but I do with test knits. But this one I was like, oh, I know what size, because I could literally go to my rib wave, and that was meant to be, I think, 19 or something like this, and I had made it 17, and I had done, so this was supposed to be done on size 6, so I knew I just did it on size 5, 3.75 millimeter needles.
How much yarn did you use?
So just about 2.5 skeins of the, not even half probably, of the fingering, and then honestly I would say 2 skeins of the mohair, because I was quite liberal with my like ends of things. Like, so if I had been a little bit more like conservative with them, I totally would have had enough mohair to finish this. And I think I knit it a little bit longer than the pattern
Suggested. It's stunning. I can't wait to wear it.
I'm gonna try it.
The reason I changed, because
this is beautiful.
This is right. It's totally like, it's different, but it's different. Okay, hang on. So, I fell in love with this yarn combination, like
which
Jackie,
is so
who
funny.
doesn't wear red.
Yes.
I fell in love with this yarn combination at New York Sheep and Wool. Like kitting it up for people. I was like, why do I keep kitting it up for people? Beautiful. One, because it's beautiful, but the more I kit it up for people, I was like, I want it. So, cause I feel like it's like for me, it's like a berry red. Yes. As opposed to like it's like a winey cool berry undertone. Red.
Yes.
As opposed to like stop sign red or like cardinal red, which are beautiful.
Yes.
But I love this color. And so I had actually bought, the same colors, the
Drop Dead Gorgeous,
5 o'clock somewhere. I always forget which one's the Halo.
Is the Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Okay, Drop Dead Gorgeous is the Halo, and 5 o'clock somewhere is the non-mohair. And I had bought that combination to knit this Ica, and like I said, I tried to do it and it didn't work. But I was like, I need to have this on the needles. Like, I just want to have this color.
Yeah.
So it is different, isn't it? Like, don't you feel like yours is more berry than mine and mine is more red? I mean, it's really close. It's pretty close.
I don't know that I do.
I totally see a difference. I think mine is less berryish. In any case, I was just so surprised. So this is one of my finished objects. I have been wearing the bedoodles out of this.
Yes, I want this already.
So what I did that was different is that I knit this in Melissa's new base, which is called Haven, which is what's the math? It's 75% Falkland merino.
Right.
12.5% BFL, 12.5% masham, and it's like a lace weight. Like I think it's 711 yards for 100 grams.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll keep it down there.
That's so pretty.
So I held the Haven double and then with one strand of mohair. And I think it came out less berry.
I mean, to be honest, it would, because it's a different
merino. Because it's a different merino.
Like
so
it's merino versus
it's
BFL
less,
is the main.
I think my guess would be that it's got less of that like gray brown undertone. Yeah. I mean, I love the color.
Merino would be white.
I definitely love that color more. But isn't it so interesting? Like different base, different things. Anyways, this is the rib welt cowl.
What is this? I love this.
I know her Instagram name, but I'm like blanking on her first name.
They don't mind. You don't mind waiting, right? This is us.
Jenny at who she goes by Sweater Freak on Ravelry and on Instagram. And it's this like really, really super fun to knit.
I love
cowl.
A cowl. Like I feel like I put these on all the time. I wear them all the time.
I would say you fell down the cowl rabbit hole. Like the like little cowls and collars that we've knit. I feel like you get more wear out of them, than I do.
I love them.
And part of the reason why I feel like I don't wear them is because mine that I knit tended to be like wide, like there's a lot of space between my neck and the the cowl, which
you need it to be pretty,
like I wanted it to sort of be a little bit tighter. I saw this on Instagram, and there was just something about the lines of it, like it was a flat lay. I didn't even see it on a body. There was something about the lines of it that I was like, I don't know, it like makes me so it's so elegant, and it's so
I don't even know what this is gonna look like. I just want it. I love the way it looks. I love this.
It was so fun to knit. It's like, this is a very Moorish pattern because you're doing like basically garter, and then here you're doing like ribbing, and I can't remember how many stitches, and then you start at the bottom, you knit flat, and then you join it in the round, and it gets gradually a little bit smaller.
Yes.
In circumference. I don't know if you can see that. But like, I'm just like, one more row. What I like about it, I'll put it on. This is the reason I changed, because the other sweater plus this I didn't really think was gonna do the.
Oh, gotcha. Yes.
Couldn't see. What I actually love is this little.
Oh, me too.
Like, it's so cute. I don't know. Like, there are different ways that you can wear it.
Yes.
But I feel like this little triangle I really love.
Me too.
I wore it all through the sort of holiday season, because holiday red, and it also will. Like,
see,
you can tuck all the way up on like a snowy, like sleety day.
Oh, it's cute.
You can fold it down. Like, I like how, like, I have space, but it's not too wide. It's like great for a coat, for a jacket. It's like small. I think it would be a great gift knit, because I do think that it's fairly, like, I think like my husband wants one in navy.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
I love just the like change of texture across here. I think that there are different sort of ways to wear it. Like, you can get like, oh, it's a ribbed cowl. Oh no, it's like a garter cowl, or you can like have both.
It's both. I love it.
But I personally like the little triangle piece here. I also think that it helps with like, sometimes I've knit like Mobius cowls, and there's something about a Mobius cowl that like there's like too much fabric around the back. There's something about this yarn combination, and also this little slit that lets it like sit in a way that I feel like you don't end up with like bunchy fabric.
Right.
There's you know, there, like, I feel like last year there were a lot of patterns that came out that were like these cute little like bandana kind of things. Like Samantha Guerin has one out right now that I'm obsessed with, like grid gambit. Cowl that are basically like, I think of them as like triangles that you seam at the back. Yeah. And a lot of the patterns,
really convenient too.
You don't like fully see, like if you have it's like a trapezoid, but you don't fully seam at the back to allow it to like lay better. And I think that this little triangle thing
does that,
achieves that.
I agree.
But yeah, I love this pattern.
It's beautiful.
Yarn usage, I used exactly half a skein, so 25 grams of the Halo, and I did measure this. 65 grams, so under one skein, but like more than half, 65 grams of the Haven, and it's so light. And I do think that the choice of the merino held double and the mohair, I decided to do it that way because I thought that it would give the like there would be more squish than using for example like a fingering like than using the BFL masham, which I think doesn't squish as much because it has so much drape in it. Like I was really I love how much bounce this Haven gives held double.
It is really nice
because essentially it is like, you know, 2-3 lace equals DK. Would that be fair?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
The original pattern was knit in DK. I knit everything according to pattern on a US size 6. Mine came out definitely way narrower than
interesting, even though you usually have. Well, no, because your stitch gauge is fine.
My stitch gauge is fine, right? Yeah. But she also Jenny has a whole, like it's like a whole set. So I knit this and then later realized that it actually is a knit along that's happening right now. But
oh, cool.
Oh, everything is a reel. I could probably. So like hers, you can see hers.
It's a little wider.
Is a little wider. I think it's around yarn choice. Like she used like an alpaca blend, and so I think it like draped a lot. But there's this like beautiful cowl version. And then, oh, there we go. And then she's also got like a matching hat.
Cute.
Look how cute. And she's running a knit along. I'm not sure if the knit along is like done. But when
this
I
can't
was
take very long. Bless you.
But when I was trying to get the stats to prep for our episode, I was like, oh, there's a knit along that's going on. Oh, and she also has a like a scarf.
Nice.
That I just think there's something about this. Like sometimes it's like the simplest stitch things, like it's ribbing plus garter, but the proportion of it, the lines of it, I love it.
I know. That's the mastery of designing, like designers, right?
Yeah.
They can put this together in like.
Yes. I think simple but elevated.
Beautiful.
Such a good gift knit.
It's funny those like ideas, right? That like come like, so I have a few in my but favorites that I was finding on Ravelry, and I'd never seen before, and had a similar kind of thing, like a little bit different, but like would have this opening. And so it's so funny. We've talked about it before. Like we haven't talked about this.
Yeah, I didn't know you were knitting in that. I didn't know you bought the kit.
Well, that exactly too. And then I also have these other patterns. I was like, oh, I want to make one of those like sometime soon. So it's just funny. And at no other point in any of this like 2.5 years we've been together have we knit something like that. And then at the same time we're like, oh, I kind of like this.
I'm getting influenced in the same direction.
Yeah, it's fun.
But yeah, this makes me want to try the BFL though.
Oh, little cutie. Pizza's downstairs with my sister right now, so that's why we're not getting a huge amount of barking. I'm so excited. Oh my god. Oh, it's so lovely. It is so, I can't wait to see it on somebody else too. There's always something extra about that.
You were very generous with your ends.
Yes. Well, and some of them were way worse than that. Oh, Jackie, look how beautiful. Oh my god, you look so elegant. Yes, you do.
Need to wear this color.
100%. Look how beautiful it is. Oh, it's so pretty.
Oh my god, it's so pretty. The fabric is so nice.
Sweater.
So pretty.
My sister saw it this morning too, and she was like, "It's so beautiful! Like, what a beautiful sweater."
I like the choice of it in a rich color.
Yes, me too, and I wasn't sure because hers was in actually a very light, like a light pink, I think.
Yeah, when I looked at it, I was like, I don't know that I can do better than this color, but I don't have to. Oh my god, it's so beautiful.
It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
This is my favorite shoulder shape. Like I don't know what it is. I guess there's like different ways of establishing this kind of shoulder, but I think it's so elegant. The V is really nice. Oh.
There's just a lot thought through, you know, like as the designing like element, like it's just, I really am shocked that designers can do this and put this all together. Like it's so, look at how beautiful that line is there. So thoughtful. And then like, because you start here, then you pick up here, and then you pick this up, that's right, and you come over here.
Do you have a release date? Or do you know, did you finish, like, when is the test done?
The test is done the 21st of January, I think. Okay. So it'll probably be like a month soon after that.
Oh my god!
Highly, highly recommend.
This might be like a 100% copy.
Yeah.
Like,
because I can't give it away to you. Unlike what you're doing for me. But I'm like, oh my god.
It just is the perfect berry red.
It is. I know. The color is perfect. And I'm very glad. It's funny, beforehand, I was picturing it and I was like, I think it's going to be great in this color. But then there was a part of me that was like, what if it's too bold or some kind of thing? I don't know. Like something that was going to like lose the elegance of the lace, but it didn't.
The other thing, I could see myself doing this actually, and I think I have in stash like a navy.
Yeah.
That would be the other
gorgeous
choice.
Oh.
I'm gonna run out.
Yeah. If it didn't, I mean, it really is one of those ones that's not hard to knit though. You know, like it's like everybody can have it.
It takes so quickly.
2 weeks. I think it was like 2 weeks. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure it might have been the 21st, to be honest.
Of December.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And then I cast this off this morning. But yeah, it did have a few other things I was also knitting on and sick.
So really quickly, because I put this on. This is definitely one of my most worn knits. I cast this off probably like at the beginning of summer. This is the Colette tee. I followed the pattern basically as written. The Colette tee is supposed to be a t-shirt, but I just keep going with the sleeves. And this is knit in offline in Sonder Yarn Luxe, which is the BFL masham cashmere mix. I don't know why. I mean, I think I love the shoulder shaping. I knit this one quite cropped so that I could wear it with like skirts and dresses and pants. And I think like gray is just one of my go-to colors.
Yes.
I love this sweater so much. It's like the sweater that I like pull on like over the summer, even in the fall. I was like, I just want a little extra layer. I also have like a fair number of things in my wardrobe that are like bottoms that are patterned, whether it's like a skirt or a dress or like pants. And it's just like perfect to have this like neutral thing. And this fabric gets better with time. And I don't know that, like, I think the other things that I've knit with this fabric all are like textured or it's like garter, but in stockinette, it's so delicious. I feel like it's worn super well considering like how often I wear it.
Yes. And the cashmere, right? Because cashmere.
Yeah, and the cashmere, there's like a little bit of pilling, but given how often I wear it, like this is definitely one of like my most worn. And there is a part of me that's just like, okay, I need a black one, I need like a blue one. But then I keep getting distracted by like all the dopamine knits. But love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Now there's like mohair in my eye or something.
Oh no, I know that mohair can get you.
Okay.
Yes, get back to this. So this, she takes off her coat and I'm like, what? Jeez. Beautiful.
Okay. So this is one of those knits that I feel like, you know, has been in my queue forever.
Yes.
This is the Ninilchik Swoncho by Caitlin Hunter. In my mind, made popular by Caitlin Wettikin from the, oh my gosh. Caddy Jacks. She has her channel, This Little Life. I'll link it below. So Caitlin knit this, I don't know, like years ago. And she knit hers in Lamb & Kid Todd. And there was something about the color scheme of hers. Maybe I'll pull it up. That made me look at this pattern in a way that I would otherwise never have looked at it. I do feel it like, because I do sort of feel like in the end I knit this. Oh yeah. It's not a twin knit, but like the vibe is the same. So that's Caitlin's version. And the moment then, like, I was aware of this pattern. It's color work, my favorite. It's a swoncho-y thing, my favorite. But it wasn't really until I saw the like Caitlin's color combo that I thought, oh my gosh, except hers is like hot pink and orange, which like, I mean, it's possible that becomes my vibe, but like.
I love that. I love that.
But
this is
is like a color combination that I feel quite proud of, because I feel like it's a little bit unexpected. It's also like very me, like it like straddles like neutral, it has and
kind of that catnap look thing to it, but
so
with a pop.
So this is knit. I was like, I want to knit a holiday sweater, and I was like, this is the holiday sweater that I'm gonna knit. And this is in Sonder Yarn Halo Mohair held double, so the whole thing is mohair.
It is gorgeous.
Like the total weight of it is like 190 grams, so it's like super light. I'll put all of the like yardages of the different colors that I used in the show notes. I used Catnap, Delilah, Leonard, and then a little bit of Ibu, which is the white.
Beautiful.
It just feels delicious. Also random. Well, not, is it? Yeah, totally random. So these beautiful earrings are from Cecilia of Seawolf and Sage. Carmen, so she is this beautiful indigenous maker, and she does drops like once a week, generally speaking. Like on Saturdays she does drops, and so I had not at that point figured out that I could like alert myself to notifications, and I would forget on Saturdays that Cecilia was dropping things, and I would like see her profile on Sunday and everything would be sold out. So Carmen had bought a pair of her earrings in the fall, which I like loved, and were super gorgeous and super like in your color story.
Would have been perfect with this right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I asked, and so I messaged Cecilia and said like, listen, like, is there a possibility that you would make a pair of earrings for me? And I had shown her like, this is her mountains pattern.
So beautiful.
And I'd shown her, I was like, I like this, I love this pattern. And here are some of the like, and Cecilia is wonderful and she watches our podcast, and so I sort of knew that she would know my aesthetic, and so we like looked at colors and sort of settled on a color palette for these earrings. And I was not planned that these were gonna go with these.
It's perfect.
But I was like, oh, like confirmation that this is in fact my color palette.
Well done, Cecilia. You
like,
got it.
Just so good. I feel like as I was like looking at favorites and looking at what I've knit, you know, there's like categories, right? Like for me, there's categories of like things I hike in, more this year a focus on like work appropriate clothing, and then there's a category that's like for the art of it, that's like just like shows, like not showstopper, but like it's a statement, like a statement piece.
Yeah.
That like probably I'm not gonna wear like every single day of the year, but oh my gosh, did I wear the heck out of this from like December when I was like, it's like festive time. And like, if there is a word of the year for 2024 in terms of my knitting, it would be mohair. Like more mohair would be the words. Mohair, because I can't tell you how like it's so breezy, it's so airy. I never get too hot.
I know.
It's a really beautiful way to do color work. I feel like for something like the swoncho that like you want movement.
Yes.
I remember I had seen Caitlin's version of this, and then Kim from the Knitting Posse also knit a Lamb and Kid Todd DK, which is like a yak cashmere blend.
Oh my God.
She knit a version, and I remember
we
saw her at Rhinebeck, and I was like having one of those moments where I was like, I like don't know what you said. We've been talking, but I was just like touching her swoncho, and like there was a certain movement with Todd DK, and I could have gone with Todd, but I didn't. And knew after I started knitting with the Sonder Mohair held double, I was like, I can get gauge. And so that's what I've done.
Of course you can, because as we said, it just finds its way.
Yeah, it just finds its way. But I do think that it creates this like...
It's so beautiful because it's not getting lost, especially maybe because of the colors you chose as well. But like, there's also just this like wash so that it's not like crisp.
It's not super crisp.
Yeah, which I think is just really beautiful. Gorgeous.
What did I want to say about this? So I did make some modifications to the design. Of course. And so I knit, there's basically two sizes, which, you know, is what it is. We won't belabor that. What I will say is I love Caitlin Hunter designs. There's something about the way that she grades her circular yokes and her shoulders that don't really fit with my...
they don't fit me. I actually don't. I avoid them because of that.
Yeah.
And the bunching.
And I will say that this is a little bit prey to that. Like, there are short rows in the back.
Okay, it's not doing the bunch thing
in the back, but it does do this.
Oh yeah.
Which is one of the things that like you knit a beautiful Birkin and gave it to me. And I love that sweater that you gave me, but it also does a little bit of this bunching. And I know that part of the reason you gave it to me is because the bunching on you is like even worse than it is on me.
It bunches here, but it also bunches
in the back. Like whenever I wear it, it's like slowly sneaking its way up like this. So I will say that the swoncho does do this a little bit, but I feel like because it's mohair and it's so like drapey and breezy, like it works.
It works.
If I were to, like if you thought that you wanted to knit this, I would recommend that you cast on the number of stitches for the medium large, even if you want a small size, because I think that will make the difference. Because what's creating this bunching, at least on my body, is that like my shoulders are too wide. Like they get like there's not enough fabric here. I need more stitches around here in order for it to lay flat.
Which is what happened with the Birkin too, I think.
Yeah,
even
so
she changed it.
Yeah, so there's just something about grading and row gauge, and I knit to gauge. It actually, I think the gauge of the pattern is like 20. Whatever the gauge is, I'm a little bit bigger.
Yeah, that looks like a pretty big gauge.
So, you know, that would be my recommendation around this if you wanted to knit it, if you're somebody who has sort of wider set shoulders. And then in her pattern, like I split for sleeves way earlier than recommended in the pattern. And so what that ends up doing for me is that in her pattern, you continue this color work down the sleeve. And what I did is I split for sleeves early. I cast on 10 stitches underneath, which is the size of the chart repeat. So I could continue. If I had wanted to, I could have continued. Yep. But when I tried it on, I just thought, you know what?
I like it.
I don't think that I personally need the color work to go all the way sort of down.
Yeah.
So I did a 2x2 rib, which is what she recommends in the pattern earlier, and made like the teeny tiniest modifications to like these little blocks. Like I think I did like 3 rows instead of 2.
Cute
ribbing. But I love it.
It's beautiful.
It's a piece that like I've been wearing around through the holiday season, and you know, most of the people in my social circle like know that I knit and, you know, are generous with like, oh, did you knit that sweater? But like this was one that I was like, people were like, oh my God, did you knit that?
You couldn't have knit that one.
Right?
Yes.
And then the experience of people touching it, then they'd be like, and then it would be like, yeah, it was very satisfying as a knitter, because, you know, you go in the wild and you're just like, somebody asked me. Not necessarily, but like, you know, just that moment in which a non-knitter goes, you made that like with your hands? Like that can be made?
But I can't help myself when I like people say that. I'm like, no, I know it looks really hard, but it's not.
Yeah, and I also say to people, I'm like, listen, like this is like paint by numbers. It's not like you know, like it's not like I imagined this like you know in a fever dream and then was like, oh, I'm gonna knit the sweater. It's like some like Caitlin Hunter imagined this in her creative process and like knit it out. But I do love it. I think, you know, for a long time I didn't knit it because it was so swoncho-y that I was like, I can't see this as like working at all.
But you fixed that by doing these adjustments.
Yes, to a certain degree. But I think part of it also is that like I knew that this was going to be a bit of a fantasy knit. It was like, do I need it to be like incredibly wearable? Like, you know.
But sometimes those really big sweaters, like, or like, you know, are like, even today I put on my like sweater number 28. This one is just perfect.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe, but it's also like, I'll throw this on. It's literally like if you're like, you were asking, if you want something cozy and you don't really want to be thinking about stuff and you're just like, you don't want to think about also how it all works with whatever you're wearing as your bottoms and all of that. Like this just works with everything.
Is that in your favorites, would you say?
100%. This is one of my absolute favorites. Like, look at how wide that is. Yeah. And yet, it's just so...
It works.
Oh my God.
It's so beautiful.
Look how long the sleeves are.
It just... I
love this sweater.
I feel like the sweater feels like that.
Yes.
Like it feels like cozy sweater, except it's not like... And it's just like being hugged by a kitten.
Yes.
Because the Sonder
and like
Halo.
Wearing well, yes, of course. Well, and actually this is also, of course, Sonder, but the cashmere with Halo. So I think there is something about a very, very large sweater that you can kind of throw on, and it feels... Actually, my mom or my dad got my daughter one of these things. I guess it's off Amazon. It's like a hooded blanket. Have you seen this? And it has like a big pocket, which I'm like, I want one of these. Like for knitting, you can just stick your stuff right in there and everything. And of course I was sick and like it was for Christmas. So she came up because I missed all of the opening of gifts. I was just in bed. But I was like, that is so cool. But it has that feeling, these kinds of things where you just like put something on and then it doesn't matter how you're feeling underneath you're just wrapped.
Kristen, who is, you know, one of my knitting idols, Cozy Made Things, she spoke about, I'm not going to articulate it properly, but she spoke about the feeling of there being space inside of her knit.
Ooh, that is
that's exactly how I feel in this.
Yes.
And, you know, I feel like we get that experience, like I get that experience in like cozy sweatshirt.
Yeah.
But there's something about having that experience inside of a more luxe fabric.
Yes.
And it's kind of like, man, like on the outside, I feel like I look luxe, and on the inside, I feel like cozy sweatpants. Yes. And I also feel like the fabric, especially when you have something soft and drapey, it just moves with you, which I feel like, you know, is just a really delightful experience for all human beings.
Absolutely.
Right? It's just the feeling of like, nothing's too tight. You don't have to like hold it in. Like it just is like,
it's such an absolute, like you are done, you know, you throw it on, you're done. And it doesn't matter, as I say, like how you're feeling underneath.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing just looks great.
Great.
And no matter what, whether you wear, I find like tight bottoms, big bottoms, all of it.
Yeah.
Yoga pants, any of it. It just always works.
Yeah. I mean,
dress.
I love this. I feel like, you know, I've talked about this before, I think last year, that I have a very, like what I wear and the colors that I wear are very like it's cyclical according to the seasons. And I go through this, like, I want everything. I want like hot pink and I want like berry reds, as we approach sort of December. And then something happens like mid-January where I'm like winter white. Like I don't want any color anymore. I just want winter white. And I feel like this is the sweater that I'm like, I think like I could wear this through until March, right? Because it just feels so nice that I don't want to be done with it.
Absolutely.
Like I don't want to be done with it at all. And I feel like my intention in the color palette was like something that's holiday-ish, but is not like
it's not
holiday.
It's not yet.
That I could keep wearing it through the season.
Totally.
And I could not be happier about.
To be honest, you could wear that. I would not feel like that would be weird if you threw that on. You're at a cottage in the summer and it's at the end of the night and you're cold and you throw that on
like
top.
Fabulous cottage sweater of
totally.
life.
Like that would be not working
compatible with docks and Muskoka chairs. Just saying. Poor little Mohair. But yeah, do you want to try it on?
Of course. Of course.
Oh my god. Frisco is like slowly burrowing further into my palette.
That is, thank you. That is exactly what he will do.
So sweet. And so wonderful.
He is a sweetheart. That dog, man. I hope I got it, but I have a way of always putting it backwards. Did I get it right?
No, I think so.
Yay. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Carmen!
This is like this.
Carmen!
Absolutely. Another one of these, just like pop it on. Oh.
It looks so good on you.
It looks amazing. I mean, it's one of those like, I mean, it's not on me, right? Because I mean, you can't even see my face. It's just that it like that pattern is so beautiful.
It's such a
classic.
It's such a like
the Sony classic.
I know, Caitlin Hunter.
I
will show. It does look so good on you.
I feel like I love that. Like I've said it before, like necklaces. It's like I'm just wearing lots of necklaces.
I want to show her version though, because like
the orange one.
No, like her, because I would not have, like, if it weren't for Caitlin knitting her version, Caitlin Wettigan, yes, thank you. Weren't for Caitlin Wettigan and her version that was like graphic like this, I don't think, like, when I look at Caitlin Hunter's version, it looks like a completely different sweater to me, which, you know, is the joy of color work. Why have I done it this way? And it's just kind of funny because when
Yes, you're right.
Like, I like a watercolory muted thing. So in some ways I look at this and I think it's more Jackie-ish. Yeah. Like this is a more Jackie looking like palette. But when I look at this, it's beautiful, but I'm not like, I must have it. Yeah. But there was something about, and Caitlin, she used like a really dark chocolate brown, and here I use the black. Yeah. The high contrast that I think really does
It does. It is absolutely changing it. And again, it makes it Missoni-like to me, which then like, what's the one? There is one. So I love, you're right. I loved Caitlin's, and then I loved Kim's version, which I think was the same as that other person that does a lot of knitting for Laine Kid. You know what, the orange one?
Margot.
Thank you. Yeah, Margot.
Let me see if I can find it.
Because that one was also like, I mean, and talk about like a very specific.
This is Kim's, right?
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, so then maybe, and then Margot's one was similar.
Yeah, Margot has a
like an orange
version of it.
I don't know. Every time I've seen it, I'm like, oh my god.
But it's like there's something about the high
it's high contrast.
There's one high contrast.
Yeah, because she didn't have that in her original. She had similar colors, funny enough, but she didn't, like Caitlin Hunter did not use a dark. It was light.
Yeah,
and that just kind of washed it out. Yeah, that is the one.
Margot's.
That's the one that every time I look at it, I'm like, oh god, yes.
Yeah, so you can see in the original pattern, there's like a whole motif, and then you split for sleeves, and your sleeves are like tiny, like it's really swoncho-y. But oh my god, that is also gorgeous. It is that high contrast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is really, it's also orange and teal. It's not orange and black. My gosh, that's such a genius color combination.
I just can't even. There's just something, I have to knit that at some point. That's one that I have thought to myself, I want those colors. Like not even to try to make it with others, like just like, maybe if I'm ever down in Washington State, if I ever make it over to Laine Kid, that's what I will just be like, that's my splurge.
It's just, this says the Laine Kid and Spin Cycle. Spin Cycle must be the main color, right?
Maybe, yeah. Probably. Okay, then I'd have to get that. Because I just want that. I want this.
Yeah, she gave away a kit for this, I remember, earlier this year. And I like rarely do giveaways.
Me too. I put myself down. I was like, I don't want that one.
Thank you, Carmen. I'm going to buy this thing. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh, that looks so at home on you.
It does. You know what? It feels that way. And just like you were saying, I'll just like reinforce what you're talking about with this. Just easy. It's very easy. This would be something I would throw on just for daily, which in some ways you're kind of like, oh my God, like it's so luxe that it almost feels wrong to wear it just around the house. But
I wear like during like Slothmas, which is what I call the period between Christmas and New Year's. I think I was like, what was I doing? Oh, we were gonna take the dog out for a walk, and I have like, you know, like a giant like puffer coat that is basically like a sleeping bag with buttons. Mm-hmm. So of course, like what I'm wearing underneath it is like doesn't matter. But I sort of like walked down and the jacket was like unbuttoned, and my husband just like looks at me. He's like, I'm not a fashion person. I'm pretty sure this doesn't go together because I'm wearing like this and like slubby charcoal gray sweatpants and like really old salt stained Uggs. And he was just like, that doesn't go. I'm like, I understand it doesn't look like it goes, but you don't understand. Like right now, I am just like, my feet are covered in sheepskin. These are my like ratty, so well worn in like fleecy sweatpants. And this like, it goes sensory wise. You don't understand. It really doesn't look like it goes, but it does.
It feels like using, it's almost like you use it up. Like you shouldn't use it up as if it has a certain number of wears that you can wear or something like that, which is really ridiculous because of course that's not true. But sometimes it feels like that. Like sometimes when I wear something that's really like elegant, just around the house.
You like feel like you, I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing, but it actually doesn't. I feel like that is the case with some like ready to wear luxe things. Like I remember, I don't know, like 10, 15 years ago, my like parents got me like a cashmere sweater for Christmas. It was like cashmere, right? Like, and I was like, this only has a certain number of wears. But I mean, I don't know. Like, we'll report back in, you know, a year or more than a year and kind of say like, how does mohair held double wear? I feel like of all of the things, like mohair held double in my mind would wear the best.
Yes. I agree.
Because it's like,
I don't find that mohair like really pills, really, like, because it's just so fluffy to begin with.
Yeah.
And it's quite strong because of the silk, and the mohair is quite, because if you put mohair into socks, it can reinforce them.
This mohair felt mohair. Like, I wonder if that's the wear that happens. I mean, who knows? Maybe I won't wear it all, but I mean, I'm just going to keep wearing it because it feels so delicious.
It's beautiful.
What else? There was something else. Oh, so what I will say is that I knit this on a US size 8, like quite a big needle size, but it sort of, the fabric came, I needed to go up to a US size 8 in order to get gauge for the pattern. And as a result of that, when I picked up stitches, the first time that I tried to do the arms and I picked up stitches like underneath, you know, like, cause I cast on 10 and then you would like are picking up from the cast on edge. It looked again, like, you know, I shouldn't say this, but it looked like moths had been underneath the underarm of my sweater, because I have since learned that for me, it's really helpful to pick up those stitches using like a smaller needle size than your body, because I did like one side, yeah, because like because the holes were like brutal.
Oh, so sorry, I just coughed into your sweater. I was trying not to do that this whole time.
It's okay. It's okay. Wool is antibacterial.
It's not technically wool. I'm not sure if goats are.
It's okay. Do you really think sheep specific?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know if that's true.
You said it with so much conviction. I was like,
you asked me if that's
goats?
what I think I'm like, yes, I do think it's just sheep. I don't know. Is there lanolin in like mohair?
Is lanolin what makes it antibacterial?
I think so. It's the soap.
Oh. I mean, I don't know these things. I do notice that natural fibers are like, they say that it helps with odor.
Yes.
And odor comes from bacteria.
Right.
Partially,
so any
right? So
natural fibers then?
I think so.
Oh.
I don't know. Let us know. Have we maligned goats?
You're going to get a
goats
comment. God, girls, you're so gross. You got to wash your mohair, girls. Are you kidding me?
I basically need to leave this out in the freezing -7 degrees Celsius cold, and then it will, in the sun, and it will take care of itself. Because I have not wet blocked this. That's what I want to say. I did not wet block it. It was just already so good and drapey.
It's so perfect.
And I like the proportions. And I was worried if I wet blocked it, it would like swoop a little bit longer. And I feel like I was already on the like border of like how low can my arm separation be in order for me to not be like a, you know, T-Rex that when I like reach across the table for an appetizer that like, you know, I'm like under boob is like there, which is like a thing, right? With swonchos.
Absolutely. Oh, 100%.
But
actually my daughter who was wearing her big blanket thing was reaching for something and knocked over a glass of something like exactly for that. So it happens.
But yeah.
Well, it's very beautiful. I'm going to take it off before I cough into it again. I was trying so hard.
How are you in terms of temperature?
I'm a little hot here.
Are you hot?
But you know what? My temperature's so off right now. But that's nice and
breezy.
It's really, really pretty, and it's so light.
So light.
Like you just
are like
100
grams. Yeah, I just you feel it like you can't somehow I feel both cozy and ethereal at the same time, which are two things that I feel like shouldn't go together.
Yes, airiness or cozy, but it's actually like
but it's both.
Beautiful. And then what is this? This is so gorgeous.
So this is a test, and this is my other finished object for today. This is a test knit.
Beautiful. I love this. I love the color.
Yeah. So this is a test knit for Tori U. This is her Dreamer cardigan. Which, you know, Mohair. I knit in Sonder Yarn Halo. This is the colorway Boreal held double.
It's so gorgeous, Jackie.
The original Tori's Tori knit this her sample is knit in
pretty
in like boucle.
Oh, that's right. Because I was gonna say I don't
yarn.
remember seeing this.
And I messaged her, I applied to test, and I said, hey, Tori, like, do you think I could knit this in either, like, could I do a fluff yarn that isn't boucle? Because I've tried to knit with boucle before, and boucle and my hands are not friends. And I always can't, like, I can't
get it through the
actual loop. I get it through the, like, loop that's, anyway. And boucle is, like, gorgeous. But my thought process is I looked at it, and it's Tori. And everything that Tori, like, does is, like, perfectly proportioned, like, super elegant. And, I was like, I would like to do one in mohair because I am in a mohair mood. And I just wanted to have like a little cardigan that I could throw over.
Oh so my God, I love it. This is forever use.
Will, hang on, because I can't remember how much I used. Okay. So I knit the size 2, which is a finished bust size of 44. I cropped it. And that took me just under 3 skeins of mohair.
Wow.
But I did a significant crop, like the body I think is probably 2 inches shorter than in pattern, and then I have shorter arms, so that also helps with it. The cardigan was so, like, it's so simple, it's so elegant, I love it. You knit it's like a drop shoulder, so you knit the back panel, and then you pick up the front shoulder, the 2 shoulders, and then you end up joining all of them together and knitting back and forth. And then the arms are picked up and like knit in the round. They're just like little tiny details. The edging is garter.
That's so her. She just
like a little bit of garter edging. I made my garter edging on the bottom a little bit longer than in
I really like it that length.
And the neckband is one of my favorite details around it. So you basically pick up all the way along and then you knit stockinette. And it creates, it's interesting because in Tori's, I think, and this is like interesting yarn kind of thing, normally stockinette like rolls over onto itself. So Tori's, focus. You can see that her, can you see her like collar rolls over like a lot more. Like it's kind of like, it looks like this. But mine in the mohair, it lays kind of flat, and I kind of love it. I mean, it wasn't intentional, but I do actually like how that looks.
It's beautiful.
My one thing that I can't figure out, which happens to me not infrequently, actually with cardigans that I knit, is just this little flippy thing. Now I haven't wet blocked it. I meant to wet block it, but I didn't. I couldn't stop wearing it, and so I haven't done it, but it will be wet blocked.
So beautiful.
Is these little corners like they don't lay flat, and I don't know what it is about it that creates these little like.
It seems like it comes up. Like
I don't really understand what happened here.
Do you think it's
it may have been the pickup or the bind off. Maybe.
I guess the bind off. Like I wonder if you made it
my bind off is too tight.
Yeah, a little looser.
Right. Oh my God, should I rip out the bind off?
No. Nobody's going to notice.
I mean, I don't really. This is like one of those things that I was like, if I didn't test it, then I would not care at all personally. But it's just this like really lovely layer. There's a little bit of neck shaping, so you get kind of this little bit of a V. And I knit it cropped because, again, it was like I wanted to have like a little light layer that I could wear like all seasons, because I do think, again, this is because it's like soft and airy and light. It
is perfect. And the color.
I also really love how it's a little bit translucent.
I
think there's something really beautiful about that.
I really like this. Like, I like how it just comes over like this. And you did a really good job on your pick it.
Yeah, so again, like I said, when I do pickups in mohair now, I go down 2 sizes from the needle size that I'm knitting, because otherwise the way that I pick up, I think because I'm loose, it ends up like gappy. But this is I knit this on a US 8.
So fast, probably.
Gauge.
What was the gauge, did you say?
The gauge was, I should know this.
It's gotta be pretty. 16, 17?
I think it was 18.
18?
Yeah, I think it was 18. But this, like the test is due in 2 days. So I suspect this is, and Tori has a pretty quick turnaround in terms of like when she receives the test and when it comes out. But it just, like, I know that this is going to be a staple for me. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm like, how many colors can I have this in? Like, I think a black one, if I had one that was black, it would just
navy,
like all the time. Oh, here's the other thing that I was playing with that I'm like, I don't know how I can make this happen. But you know, there are all these like beautiful wrap cardigans.
Yes.
So part of the reason I cropped it is because look, what a perfect, if I could figure out how to fasten here and
That's
here.
Gorgeous.
To me, it's like the most perfect wrap cardigan ever.
Yes.
I just don't know how to do this.
It's this one that you'd have to worry about. Well, you could, if you knew you always wanted it that way, you could put a little snap button.
Oh, I could.
But then you would be stuck with it.
Yeah, which I don't want to do.
Because I think if you just you could put just a little brooch or something,
here.
right?
I wonder if it would actually hold.
It will hold, because I've done this in past sweaters that I just had.
Yeah.
It sometimes just kind of sneaks its way down sometimes.
Down until you're like,
it's whether you care.
But like, I just feel like it's such a perfect little wrap. And I was thinking about like dresses.
Ballet. Oh yeah. It's so pretty. It's gorgeous, gorgeous. Can I also, yes, I do want to try it on. And I, look at how, see, we're just doing things at the same time. I want to give a shout out to this color. It is, this is my Turtle Dove Cardi by Melissa Clulo.
Can I put on?
Sonder Yarn free pattern. Talk about another sweater that is a never ending, always used, throw on, always works. Always. So this colors, and mine was in Boreal with Wildwood. So it was 2 strands of mohair in the Boreal and then a strand of fingering. I don't think she has Wildwood anymore, but she has another version for.
Yeah, very close.
Very close. This is just one of those colors that it's a color, but it's so neutral. Like, I just feel like it matches everything. It looks like.
It's also so one that like, from our experience of like working the booth in Sonder and like, you know, holding colors up to people's like faces to sort of like, it's a really neutral green that I think is it's like, I think it sits fairly close to the center in terms of neutral between like cold and warm.
Cold and warm. It seems to work with everyone. Yeah. Like really, I can't, Yeah. So anyway, that I do want to try.
I mean, most definitely influenced by your Turtle Dove Cardi in the choice here.
But I was gonna say, like, so that's another one I'm definitely making more of. But I'm also gonna make one of these because a just mohair one. Even like, you know, there's versatility with that as well. Oh gosh, it's gonna be a little cropped on me because always.
It's gonna be like a bolero on you.
Yeah, usually. Oh,
but like,
look, like, you know, see, it's okay. So my other one, it works the same way, but this one just has a slightly not elevated, but more work.
Yeah, it's just a little dressier.
Even though I wear that one to work all the time too. But yeah, it's a little dressier. That's
like I think it's the other thing that I was thinking about is like, you know, like you're going to a wedding.
Yeah.
And you just need that like little layer.
Yeah, because I used to, do you remember like when I was in wedding season, for me, you know, when I was in my 20s and we were all getting married, pashminas were really coming and so you'd always have your pashmina. And this is like a pashmina. This is so beautiful, Jackie. Oh my God, I love everything about it. I love everything. I'm making this as soon as you're releasing it,
like,
I'm making it.
Tori and her basics. I mean,
so good.
It's the first time that I've tested with her, which was like a really fun experience.
But
there was something about like, I saw it and I was just like, I need this like this is a stable cardigan and I need it. And it has absolutely met my expectations.
I'm in love. I'm in love.
I will include, like, the modifications will be in my project page just in terms of the lengths. The one thing that I did do that I didn't mention is for the garter. In the pattern, Tori has you knit the garter at the same gauge as the stockinette. I went down 1 needle size for the garter because my garter is really loose and I was worried that it was going to flare out. Oh, gotcha. I think what ended up happening is it ended up sort of coming in a little bit, which I don't mind.
Like a bubbly kind of.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of a bubble sleeve. But that's the only thing that I changed. Otherwise, I knit it exactly to pattern, minus adjusting the lengths for like my body.
I love it. That just reminded me that actually on this one, I did the opposite. I only went down 1 needle size instead of 2 for the cuff.
So that it didn't come in so much.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I just felt like I didn't want to.
Sometimes you just know, right? Like as you start to rib, you're like, ooh, the like fabric is getting too tight or something.
I just didn't want it. I don't know why. I was like, I just don't want it too tight. I don't know why. But then I did the 2 down for the hem.
The hem. Yeah. I find often actually that like I like a looser.
Me too. I also like when it just goes straight out.
Around the arm.
It's so beautiful, Jackie. Look at that neckline.
The neckline is so perfect. And I know that it's supposed to roll, like in the pattern it's supposed to roll. I don't know why mine didn't. But I kind of love it.
This.
I think it like gives, I feel like it gives it almost like, it's like you get the double knit button band, except you're not working nearly as hard.
No, a lot easier.
But I wonder actually for like version number 2, version number 3, whether I need to bind off with a needle size larger than my body.
I think it's the bind off. I think that's what's pulling it up. And I also wonder, like boucle would probably have wool in it, right? Like,
yeah.
So it's going to have more of a stretch, like, you know, whereas this is not going to have as much like that. So you're going to have to adjust.
Yeah, I think probably with a wet block, if I like lined everything up here with a wet block, I think it would be fine.
I think it's fine as it is. I wouldn't even touch it. I think it's great.
Beautiful. Love.
Wow.
Halo Mohair.
Speaking of, okay, so I can talk, well, we've been kind of going through our like things throughout the thing. I do have a whip. Unless you want to do another, I mean, we don't care. We don't follow the plans. Okay, so after our last episode, I had so many finished objects our last episode. I still haven't finished a few things like the mitts. I'm almost done. That's the Sari Nordland.
The dramatic full mitt. Polymnia?
Polymnia, yeah. These little they go all the way up. Oh, they look nice with this.
Dude.
But I wanted something that was a really easy thing. And then I got my Laine in the mail and I'm always like, yay. I was gonna cast something else on, but then
I love that sweater. There's so much twisted rib, otherwise I would cast it on immediately.
What, this one?
No. That one. Yeah.
Brick Road. Gorgeous. I've said this one before, but I'll say it again. I buy the subscription to Laine because I really just love that I love magazines and I love buying a magazine.
Supporting print.
That. This is what I was going to cast on. I mean.
The sweater?
Like
this beautiful funnel neck.
And talk about a stockinette, right?
Stockinette with just funnel neck of dreams.
Which is funny because I'm showing you things that I did not cast on. But as I was going to cast it on, for some reason, I think it was maybe it was the yarn. I can't even, where is it, Jack? Oh, okay. And it wasn't even that I loved the look of it, but there was something about, I had the yarn and I'm like, I'm going to cast this on. This is called the Snowfield. It's very, very big and chunky. But there was something about
that's the one out of this issue that I was like, I could knit this one. Plus I love Hiromi also.
Oh, have you knit from her before? I don't know her, I don't think. So I have had some Gilead sitting in my stash for a long time, but it's in this I think it's called Dora or something. In this yellow that for me, color-wise, is probably not my best. I have yellow undertones or something in my skin. I always feel like yellow doesn't make me look quite as good. But I also wanted to knit, and actually it's really funny, right? I don't know, there was just a look. But I thought it was, it actually asked for Gilead held with a mohair. And I was like, well, what if I combine it with a darker mohair?
I love a darker mohair combo. Ooh.
Put these together, and that might make it a bit
What color
less.
Is this?
So that's Dirty Weekend, of course, Sonder Yarn Dirty Weekend.
Oh my God, Carmen.
Right? I feel like it made it just into a gold that's and now look at that.
Perfect gold.
It's the perfect gold, isn't it?
It is.
I really, really like it. So and then the fit is ending up really.
It's because it's like a saddle shoulder. Oh my god. I had that pattern pinned for Newton.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Although this will give it.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Right? I think that works.
I love this color on you.
Thank you. I think so too. Which is funny because I think it's warm. It's not a cool color. But I think I have like flecks of this color in my eyes. I don't know if that's maybe
your
why.
Eyes just went, wow.
Yeah. Which is, I was talking with somebody about like.
So amazing. Like, this will never cease to entertain me.
How it
works, how it comes together.
I know.
But like, I can't do it. I feel like must swatch to know, but.
Well, and I didn't swatch it.
This fabric.
Isn't it? It's so nice. I think this is a very beautiful sweater.
Very beautiful. It's so classic.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, this
will be one that will be nice once I block
it.
This one will have a very nice block. But
the neck shoulder situation is just like
pretty.
Oh,
it's got a cap. It's kind of like military.
Oh yeah.
You know,
you
love
can
it.
Put like little stars.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a saddle, right?
Yeah. And it was so funny because I was going to knit this other thing, and then when I looked at the specs of it, funny enough, it wasn't the picture. It was the specs I wanted to, let me look because there was things that would remind me of why. Oh yeah, so I look and I'm like, needles, size US 10, 6 millimeter. I'm like, yeah, I like this. And then the gauge, where is the gauge? 18 stitches and then 16 stitches. In the rib, which is still 18 stitches of the chart.
That's the cable, right?
Oh yeah, 14 stitches. Here we go.
I was like, wait, what?
Unstocking. I was gonna say because I was like, I remember it just being really like, you know. And we had been talking about the make nines too, which we'll talk a little bit more about. Mm-hmm. And one of our wonderful viewers, maybe actually more than one, said
many of them.
There's so many good ones.
So good.
Using up stash, like thinking about using up stash. There is something really wonderful about using stash. Which is funny, like why? You know, it's just sitting there and it brings me joy. It doesn't matter if I never knit it, but there's something about finally knitting with this thing. And I knew I could knit with this Gilead, and then I would also be, you know, like combining it with my wonderful Sonder that I just love, that makes me so happy.
And making it like something in your stash that my guess is that you bought because you love the color and then like were reluctant to knit it because you wouldn't feel confident in it, right? So like like yes, we don't need to go down the road of like, you know, is it good or bad or whatever, but it's like how you feel about it. It's like you love it in the ball, but you don't feel good in it on you, but you found a way to make what is like to me the perfect.
I don't think this makes me look sick.
No, it does not.
Even though I am sick. But this one, like maybe not, maybe it would have been fine, but there was something about, I feel like I really am happy with how Dirty Weekend just like toned it and made it even goldier.
Bronzy gold. Like it like, cause this to me is like, it's called gold, right?
It's called, Dore.
Yeah. Like this isn't, to me, this is mustard yellow. Like, sorry. Like, but it is mustard yellow.
Absolutely.
And like now it's gold.
Now it's gold. Maybe it adds something, but also Dirty Weekend, you can see has like this sheen to it, so it adds this like metallic look to it somehow. But I just am really, really into this sweater.
I also feel like the Gilead is like, you know, one of the yarns that you'll see like lots of cabled knits are knit in Gilead because you get great stitch definition. Yeah. But I just want to shout out again the stitch definition of cables where your mohair is darker than your like main color.
True.
Look how good it looks.
It really does look really good.
Like this looks so good. Oh my gosh, I love the sleeves.
The sleeves are actually really interesting because these ones are the same, but then these ones are snakes.
Oh my gosh.
Because at first I was like, oh, did I, like, is this wrong? But no, well, I guess I'm not telling you too much about the pattern. You can see that.
I want it.
Yeah.
I want it.
Right? Well, next time you'll be able to try it on and it'll look amazing on you, and I'll try not to give it to you. Anyway, so that was what I was working on and whipping off. So I think this was only a few days, 2 or 3 days.
Like, I want to whip this one off.
And I wanted to start with the like sleeves, and then and then it's just the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, after, which is really nice. That's how I knit this one here. Anyway.
I always do sleeves before body.
It depends sometimes for me. Like, there's pros and cons, right? Because you have to keep flipping things around and
fabric.
Yeah. It's a very squishy.
It's like squish, but the mohair gives it like a slickness that I really like.
I really like it.
Because I remember when I knit my my cabled Menton sweater, one of the recommended yarn actually, the Menton sweater is a cabled sweater. Oh look.
No. Look, here it is.
We don't have
if Frisk will allow it.
Oh my gosh, I did not even situational awareness. I'm sorry, Frisk. I think the pile is still big enough though, huh?
Oh, he's fine.
I showed this last episode. This is the Menton sweater by
This
Megan
is such
Babin.
a beautiful sweater.
Which she, like, there was yarn support for Natura Gilead. And part of the reason I didn't go with it was because I wanted to be like a little bit softer, and Gilead I think is really beautiful, but this is like a rustic, like hardy, like I'm like barn sweater vibes, like in the best way, you know?
Totally.
Or we're talking like horse girl vibes, right? Like,
yes.
But man, you add a strand of mohair, and I am not getting
It's
rustic
a
at
very
all.
different
I'm getting
feel
just
to
like
it.
I'm getting like rich,
I
sumptuous
love
cables.
Do you know what I also love about like mohair? I always like get worried about barber poling and things like that if you have quite a significant difference, but they just don't happen. It's more like you just get this wash. Like you can see it change, but it's so all the way through that it just feels like the whole thing's been just washed with a filter.
One of the things I love about Dirty Weekend though, like if we do this for a second, we'll just do this. Like you can see that the silk core on Dirty Weekend is really quite light, but the fluff is dark. And so I do think that helps.
Right, maybe.
In the barber poling, because what you would be seeing in the barber poling really is you're seeing the silk.
Right.
Like it's the silk that creates the barber poling, but and I find this with a lot of Melissa's mohair is that it's so shiny. It's so shiny. So it's kind of like you get the sheen, and then the wash comes from the like fluff that I always found it's so funny. Like certain mohairs, when I've paired mohairs before, it's like I've noticed that I have to match the silk as opposed to matching the the Halo, like the dominant color, because the dominant color comes out as a wash.
Yes,
right.
I see what you're saying. Right.
Oh my god, it's squish.
I really do love this. Now I'm excited. Squish. Now that I finished this,
I want it.
I can finish this one. I'm gonna finish that one soon.
I want everything.
It's some good stuff.
Knocked out of the park, Carmen.
I also I feel like the color, and I will say this is one where I love this color and have stayed away from it because I didn't think it was going to work very well for me. And then like there are these moments that hit me with like, I'm like, Carmen, it's okay. Like you can look sick. It's okay. You know, like if you feel, I mean, not that I look brutally sick, but more like, it doesn't have to be optimal to still be really, really beautiful. Yeah. And even if it doesn't work with my skin tone that well, it's still a really beautiful color. Like I don't have to avoid colors that I really like just because they don't work perfectly on me.
Yeah, and I think that there's like, there's like excellent, okay, and like really quite
pretty much not good.
Bad. Like,
I mean, not quite this because, as I say, my eyes have that color in them, but the yellows can be very bad for me, like really bad.
Yes, yeah, and it's like I said, it's like how it might look objectively, but more importantly is how it subjectively feels. Probably like worse than it objectively is. Yes, because of the way that we feel or relate to certain colors, right?
Exactly. And so if I'm wearing this and I'm like feeling really good because I really love the color, I'm going to be exuding that.
Yeah, as opposed to like, the feeling when you're like trying on a new style and you're like, can I go outside? Like, am I pulling this off? Like, I feel like there's that like, am I pulling this off energy is quite,
Yeah. No, I'm very happy with this.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so like, it's so rich.
It's so rich.
So rich.
The cables are really, it's just a very beautiful pattern.
It's a very beautiful pattern.
So I do love, I mean, again,
go with
Aquilina, like there's something really fun when it arrives, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to knit this pattern even though it wasn't even on any radar. it showed up. This one has some beautiful patterns in it.
This is the one that I wanted to knit. Yes. Cinnamon twists. That's so much twisted rib.
I know.
Oh, so beautiful.
So pretty. That kind of reminds me of my fisherman's sweater.
Fisherman's raglan by Liv Olvin. Yeah.
Olvin, yeah. That's great.
Okay. What else do I have? Okay. I have 2 other garment finished objects that are relatively quick.
Oh God, I have seen that one, but I love that.
One of which you've seen before, but is finished and has been finished for a while. I don't know why. I just kept bringing it and it just like didn't get.
Oh, it's so
did not get
beautiful.
Shown.
Sunset. Wow. Wow.
Okay. So this is the Serendipity sweater by Vera Valimaki. I think I showed it. It was a whip. You guys have seen it as a whip. It was like done yay much.
Perfect.
It's sort of raglan construction, I would say, with interesting ratios. With this like beautiful cable, double cable down here. You have like cable here, and then the rest of it is like seed stitch. I knit this in Newton, the colorway Rodnad, held with 1 strand of Bramble Ridge Suri lace alpaca in the colorway Rock Hunting. And the last time that I brought it, so the reason I put the color combination together is because, can you see it here? I need to find one of those like elusive gold flecks.
Oh yeah, that's one
up here. So there's like I don't have any of the lace weight left, but it was like pink and it had these like blues and then these little flecks of gold, which when I looked at it, it made me think about a very specific kind of sunset by the water that it just like reminded me of like lots of really beautiful like sunset moments. And there was just something about it that I was like, the color of this is sunset. It
is sunset. I hope it's coming across because that is all this is. Like absolute sunset. Gorgeousness.
And I had, yes. And this is like probably one of my only variegated yarn sweaters. And if you go back to the episode where I showed this as a whip, I was like, okay, I don't know if I can do the variegated yarn thing. I also was incredibly unsure as to whether this was a good yarn choice for the cables. And what I will say is like, I don't think that this yarn is showing off the beauty of this sweater. I think if I knit this sweater in like a solid color or in a light speckle, like her version of it, it would be a way more beautiful sweater. Because do you think you see the cables?
I see the cables. Like, I don't feel like it's coming across on here as easily, but here it's very, very clear.
Maybe if I come closer, you can kind of see them a little bit better. But our friend Hannah was like, Jackie, you know I'm gonna tell you the truth. And she's like, okay, it's double main character energy because like the sweater is the main character, wants to be the main character, and then the yarn also wants to be the main character. And it's not that it doesn't work. It just like they're like competing with each other. And I was like, Hannah, you're dead right. You nailed it. But this is a sweater that I was like, I'm knitting the sweater for the vibes and for me and not for the aesthetic. Good. Because I could not let go of the sunset. And I loved how it looked in the seed stitch. And I also I had knit enough to know that I friggin' loved the fabric. And I was like, I'm not ripping this baby out to make a stockinette sweater, which might have been a better approximation. No. I wear this.
It's amazing. I feel like I just can see seagulls flying within your because there's an ocean. And this is the sky with the pink clouds.
It was just like, and so what was actually, this is a moment where I was like, community made this for me because so many of you were like, oh my God, I see the sunset. And then there were people sending me sending me pictures of sunsets from where they were that were like this. And I was like, I can't rip it out.
No,
absolutely not. I'm doing this for the vibes. It's so beautiful. I wear it so often. One, because it's the perfect hiking layer. Oh my gosh, because there's no prickle with the Suri alpaca. Rodnad was one of the like very fine, like very soft Newtonen blends. And, you know, Newtonen has variation, and we've talked a little bit about how I have developed prickle 2 out of the 4 weeks of the month. But this is one that's like, it's just my perfect hiking layer. And there's also, every single time I put it on, I just think about like, I think about sunsets, and it like takes me to that place, and it like reminds me of you and all of your sunsets that you sent me. And I'm just like, that makes me love this sweater a cajillion times more.
Yes.
Because of like sort of the meaning of it. So I love it so, so much. Oh, Pizza coming?
Hello.
Hi, Pete.
Baby.
But I will be knitting with this yarn combination again for sure. Yeah. And I also just want to shout out that I do believe this is one of my favorite cabled sweater patterns ever. And I do intend perhaps one day to knit it again in like a classic winter white, because it's just, all the details are so artful. It was so fun to knit as a sweater, because you have like just a little bit of cable and then like a little bit of like seed stitch. It's so pretty. I love it so much.
I love it.
Let me give you
little split turn.
Little fleck.
Oh, turn more. Pretty.
So I use 200 grams of Newtonen single-stranded with 105 grams of the Bramble Ridge lace Suri alpaca in the colorway Rock Hunting. And it's so cozy.
It's so beautiful.
I love it so much. And thank you for making my sweater.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm glad you did it. I mean, it's not like, as I say, in person, you can see the cables very well.
I think if I come closer to the camera, there's actually like,
yeah.
There's something about the cabling. I did knit on a US size 6. There's something about like this colorway, I feel like, or this Newtonen colorway that's quite like plump. So I feel like you do like in real life, you get a little bit more. It's a pink. Yeah. A little bit more definition.
It's really pretty.
But
I love it. I love it.
You want to try it on?
Of course. Of course.
Sorry, Frisk.
Oh, he's fine. Did he even get up?
No. I'm slowly making his little mountain just like slightly shorter though.
Oh, it's so pretty. Did I put it the right way?
I think so.
Okay. I was struggling with that.
I'm not sure.
Maybe. Did I?
No.
Oh, Car. Even at my best, I mess these things up.
Does that feel better?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think I got it.
I think that there's a little stitch marker in the back, I think. Did I pull it out?
Yes, I will just find, let's see. I mean, it's very, very close.
It is very close.
There we go. This is it.
Yeah.
Got it. Very pretty. Oh, I should have just looked for the little gold bit. Pretty.
Oh,
It's so pretty.
it's such a beautiful cable pattern.
From here, from that distance, you're not, I wouldn't see the cable as much, but then as you get closer, you'd be like seeing it. And again, like, who cares? You don't need it to be really obvious.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, it's like if I were testing the pattern, if I were a tester and I was wanting to like really highlight the pattern, this would not be the choice that I made.
Right.
But I'm still very, very happy with the finished object, and it'll just give me an opportunity, she who knits every sweater twice, to do it again. I wish that the camera could show you how amazing this colorway is, though. This like Megan's Rock Hunting.
Do you see how even
Like, it has a
everything
little
is,
bit
too?
of like, there are these like gold ochre flecks. There's also like
Pink,
bright sunshine yellow flecks.
Yeah.
There's pink flecks. There's the blue. Like, every so often you'll get like a purple Oh my God, it was like so, I was like, oh, what's coming next? What's coming next? It was so beautiful. It's one of my favorite Megan colorways. Is she trapped?
I'm not sure.
Is she trapped?
No, I'm still on.
That sweater is definitely, when Carmen comes back, we'll maybe sort of start to talk a little bit about make nines, but that sweater for me was one of the makes of 2024 that it's going to be a big influence for my 2025 makes and how I go about constructing my make nine. But yeah.
Going for a walk.
So
my sister is here, so she's taking the
dogs for a walk.
Yes, I think just Pete's.
Just
Frisco looks totally fine. Frisco hasn't even gotten up.
In his bubble.
He's like, I'm totally happy. You know it when I look at him and then he puts his ears back like, why are you looking at me? No, don't. I'm fine. I'm
Leave
fine.
me in my space.
Beauty.
I also like love that he's a little shy. Like I feel like he doesn't like to have attention. Like he doesn't.
Frisco does not
like he doesn't
attention.
like it when I talk about him.
No. Oh no. That's He's like, that can't be good. Yeah. Why are you talking about me? He's going. You heard the door.
Exactly.
Okay, so what in the world is
last
this?
one,
Last
finish
I
off
love
back.
this combo with a blue. It looks like blue and green. You can buy.
Okay, so this is an interesting color combination. So this sweater, I'll just stand up.
Beautiful.
We'll talk about it. This is the hacked Easy Like Sunday Morning.
I was gonna say.
So Easy Like Sunday Morning is a pattern from Melissa Clulo, which I hacked to for a different shoulder construction, which is on my Ravelry called Friday I'm in Love. So it's that pattern with a ribbed, folded down collar, and then Friday I'm in Love, sort of like raglan-esque shaping that gives that little shoulder detail that I like. This is knit in like the most delicious yarn combination. Yeah, right?
Whoa!
Right? So this is a sweater that has been worn a ton, and was one of the sweaters that I knit during the period of time where I thought, do I have to like give up all rustic yarn because I can't I need to have some sweaters that like, as my hormones are doing whatever they're doing and I become like wool sensitive, that I need to have some like cozy throw-on sweaters, because all of my cozy throw-on sweaters are in rustic yarn.
Yeah.
I was like, I need something that's just like soft. So I was thinking about, okay, what have I knit with that was like a crazy soft combination? And I remember we knit our lentos.
Yes.
Our lento sweaters in,
I was just thinking that the other day. I love that sweater.
51% baby alpaca, 25% linen, 24% tussa silk. This is from Crux Fiber, old colorway. She's not stocking this base anymore, but it's a base that you can find with a lot of hand dyers. So when we knit our lentos, we had knit them in like this base from Ginger Twist Studio plus mohair. And I think both of us used like the Shibui knits cloud, so it was like a very at that time before. How had we not discovered Sonder at that point in our lives before? In any case, it's like a skinnier, very not prickly mohair in the like family of mohairs. Yes, 60-40. And so that was one of the sweaters that, during my prickle phase, I was like, I can almost do it, but even that like really delicious silk cloud, I would become aware of it in like this area if I got heated. So I'm like, hey, what am I gonna do? I am gonna put it together with Suri alpaca. But what I didn't want is the lentos kind of can get it. One of the things I love about the lento is how gapey the fabric is. Yeah. I didn't want it to be so open, so I went full on like, I am sad about wool, so I'm just gonna be extra, and I held this lace weight Suri alpaca from Bramble Ridge in the colorway Fairy Glen. I held that double, and then the baby alpaca linen silk single. So two strands of that. The lace Suri and one strand of this.
No wonder.
And like I wasn't sure, but like when I looked at this, I'm like, I'm pretty sure this clashes. Like I'm pretty sure these are not two greens that should go together. But I think the fact that I held the Suri alpaca double makes it work and has given me like one of my favorite greens ever.
It's like, it's funny. So we talked about the like, it's not barber poling, but you can, in this situation, you can absolutely see the thing underneath.
Yeah.
But because of that, I love it. Like, it's like a wash over top of this like water.
I don't know how it works, but I feel like it works. I was like, I'm just gonna start and see what happens.
I love it.
It's on a US size 10. It's like a big gauge. And oh my gosh, do I wear this all of the time because it's so soft. It has that drape. With the alpaca on alpaca on alpaca. We were in Sedona recently, and like I knew it was the desert. I knew that it sometimes snowed. The like temperature differential in Sedona was wild. We would get up in the morning and we were trying to get to hikes like at the sunrise because it's so beautiful to watch sunrise, but it would be like, it was freezing.
Yes.
It was freezing, and we didn't pack like puffer coats or vests or anything like that because we thought, okay, like during the day it's like 18 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
And at night it's like 2 degrees, but like we won't be like out hiking in the night, but you know, like sunrise is basically the night.
Yes, it does.
So we would like go to the trail and we were like not outfitted, and my poor husband was like freezing his butt off, even though he's like not so cold sensitive. But man, I put this baby on.
You were perfect.
And like I put this, I had like one base layer, I had this, and then I had like a little windbreaker, and man, did this thing keep me toasty. It was so toasty and so soft. I love it so much.
It's really pretty.
And like this will go down as one of my most worn. I don't know. It's funny because it's like, okay, we've been doing this podcast for like 2.5 years. I probably like started becoming like a voracious knitter like probably a year or 2 years before we started podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, you know, we're approaching like the 5-year mark. And this far out, I feel like there's a part of me that wants to explore new constructions. And I think that like we do that on this podcast. Mm-hmm. But man, do I just love this shoulder.
I know.
Like,
to the point where you modded like, another pattern just for this, because it's the Colette. You showed the Colette to you earlier.
Yeah, it's just this shoulder that I really love.
I agree.
And like a tight sleeve, but like roomy in the body. I think it just like works.
I love it. I love it. It's beautiful.
So that's my, like, those would be my 2 most worn basics for sure. Is this one, the Colette, and then this one, which I feel like is very similar to the Colette. Like the shoulder shaping is very similar to the Colette, but the gauge is different.
There is just something about, I mean, it's what we were talking about with Tori Yu's designs, right? Like there's something about the classic, there are classic tailored, beautiful patterns that just look wonderful, and they don't need a lot of like wildness to them. They just are, they're exactly what they are needed to be.
Yeah. And I think ultimately, I think that there are some people who are like print people who like are always wearing like prints or something with like a little extra. And I think I'm somebody who like, either I want something that's like a lot extra or like basic, like there's like minimal in between kinds of things. But yeah, I love this sweater. I love this yarn combination if you have the chance. And in terms of yarn usage, because it was quite a big gauge, I used like ultimately it's like I needed about 1,200 yards of the Suri because I held it double. Mm-hmm. And then 600 yards of the baby alpaca linen tussa silk, which is like a fingering weight yarn. Suri, I feel like fills out in a way that is a little bit different from mohair, which, you know, when we were in Sedona and it was quite cold, I really appreciated that like fuzz that fills, and it's same here. Like I have other Nutiden sweaters that I like to wear hiking that are like one strand of Nutiden and one strand of mohair. There's something about the Suri that just has like a little extra body that's like really nice.
Oh yeah, I mean even down to like the yardage, right? Like because it is a little thicker. This was the lace weight Suri. Oh, so
both of these are lace weight, but yeah, that like sort of like head to head, looking at like lace weight to lace weight. I still think Suri gives you, like, it has more body.
It has more of a, like,
yeah,
something to it.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
So, yes. Do you have any other things that you wanted to show?
Not
in terms of like new whips.
No, nothing new.
Did I have one more? I did have one more thing. It's sitting right here. Sometimes you just need a knit that like gives you joy.
Cute.
So really this is
cute.
This is the Lumberjack and Jill hat by by Michele Meadows, who you can find on Instagram as Muskoka Yarns. This is knit in Bramble Ridge yarn, because Megan is my favorite, one of my favorite dyers. The brim, and this is not actually black. It's this beautiful colorway called Someone's Grandpa.
Oh!
Which I love so much. I'll take it off so that you can see. It's
so
like this deep burgundy. It has pops of like dark green and a little bit of pink and a little bit of, like, it just is one of my absolute favorite colorways. And then I paired it with her woolen spun merino sport in the colorway Crush, because I was really wanting, like, I don't know, like holiday festive-y gingham.
It's so cute. But you know what? It's not only holiday to me.
No?
Like that, no. Even though I totally can see the holiday piece, you could wear this in the like fall.
In the fall.
No problem.
I just really, really love the color combination.
I do too.
Like this like berry, like this dark berry and the pink with the like little green pops.
I love it.
I have not put the pom-pom on, but
cute.
Like, just so happy. And sometimes I was like, I feel like there's been a lot of test knitting, and the test knitting has been really, really fun. And the test knitting has either been like relatively complex test knitting, or like, you know, Tori's cardigan was just like knit purl, like it's really straightforward. But sometimes I just need the satisfaction of like, you know, whipping out something that's like fast and easy.
Oh yeah.
So that's this one. One of the things that I haven't figured out how to do this, but one of the things that I was like really pleased about is because Someone's Grandpa was on her DK sock, which is a 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon base, and I think the superwash and the nylon is like the base is part of how this color is like so super rich. So even though I typically don't work with superwash yarns, I was like, the color of this is like, it's so good. I mean, if anyone could do it, Megan probably could dye this in a like non-superwash, but it was there, it was available. I could just hit checkout, and it was like,
it looks so tweedy, even though it's not tweed. Like I thought it was
like a variegated. It's variegated.
So good.
One. And so, you know, there were a couple of things. I was a little bit, not worried. Yeah, worried is probably the word. Is I was like, I don't know how this brim is going to, because it's superwash and it's ribbed. I was like worried that it was going to stretch out. I don't work with superwash yarn a lot, so I don't have the experience. So what I did was I decided to, it's like a double folded brim, right? And so I decided to do the part that you can see in the superwash, and then inside is the non-superwash woolen spun merino. And I do love the little
peekaboo kind
of? The little peekaboo.
Me too. I love the looking at that.
That you can get. I mean, it takes a little bit of like,
right,
but like a little tiny peekaboo of it that I think is super cute, because I do, like, I love this color. I feel like this is a good color for me.
Yeah.
And so just having that like little peek, or even me just like knowing that it's there.
Oh yeah.
Is pleasing.
Just knowing it's there is,
you know.
It's like when you have shoes that have a lining, and nobody's seeing that lining, but it brings so much joy.
Yeah. So it also helped me stretch. I mean, I ended up having lots left over, but I didn't know in terms of the pattern of the DK. I had like 50 grams of the DK. 50 grams or 100 grams. I will put that in the show notes, but I was like not sure that I would have enough if I had done the brim completely in the grandpa color. But yeah.
It's so pretty.
It's so cute. It was so fun to do. It was just like a little bit of color work because I hadn't had color work on the needles, and I love color work, and I was like, give me a little bit of stuff. So what else was I gonna say? Oh my gosh, it looks so cute on you, Carmen.
Oh, what size? Are there sizes? I
yes.
feel like I could use one size bigger. Maybe.
I did.
I'm a little lumberjack.
You are a little lumberjack. I also like love that the pattern name is Lumberjack and Jill Hat, which like makes me
adorable.
I knit the adult medium. Yeah, I knit the adult medium. And I did one more repeat of the checker. Because I like a tall hat.
Yeah, I think you did it perfect.
Yeah. Oh my god, that like height looks so good on you.
I know, I really.
And it did like, I mean, technically the like decreases. It's like equally spaced around like spiral, but for whatever reason, the hat like wants to duckbill.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's why I haven't put the pom pom on yet because I feel like the hat wants to have a duckbill as opposed to having a pom pom. Even though I tend to pom pom all my spiral, like all of my like round hats, but something about it.
I don't get it just like this.
Looks really good on you.
Color too.
Yeah, the color combination, it was totally like I had the two skeins together and I was like, these need to go together. What am I going to do with it? A hat is always a good use of a good way to like play with color when you just need a little like snack of dopamine.
It's true.
But yeah, those are all my finished objects.
Beautiful.
And what do I have? I have one whip, but I don't necessarily need to talk about it. It's really like not far away. It's very far away from actually becoming something. It's gonna be a long whip.
Yeah. Oh, that one.
A long whip, yeah.
That's a pretty cool one.
Favorites?
Yeah, so favorites. So just favorites. So you mentioned how I this year knit a lot of summer tops. Mm-hmm. And before I had knit, actually, it wasn't that I wasn't knitting summer tops before I had, but I just never really wore them. And something about this year, like because I knit like that camisole, like Chrysler cami,
the twisted rib cami.
Like never, I every once in a while I'll wear it, but I don't know. There's something. This year, I was knitting a bunch of little summer tops, and these have just been perfection. I wear them all the time. I don't like. How do we want to do this? People have already seen them, so it's not like
we'll name them.
Okay,
and then we can maybe in the show notes put the episode number or something like that if people want to go back and like see it.
Oh. This was the salty air tee done in a linen mix from Sonder.
Yeah, the BFL.
Flax and fleece and flax.
Fleece and flax.
I mean, this is just, and the thing is, I want to say I wear them even now, even in the winter, because like I stick it on, throw on a cardi on top, right? And when I'm going to work, and it all just like comes together, and then I can take it off. I can, I can take this if I get hot because my temperature is always changing. So if it comes down to like things that I have worn again and again,
you think this is you think your most worn of everything in this pile? Your most worn would be...
This is what I'm saying, my most worn of everything in this pile?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay. This one I told you about. My rib wave also, I don't have that one. This will be the same. Definitely up there. This one, so that's the Salty Air Tea Samantha Karen. This one, oh my God. Also in the linen blend from Sonder.
With a little kiss of mohair.
The eyelet drop eyelet. Oops, that says backwards. By Layla Raven. Oh my God. This also. Like, talk about just throw something on. I freaking love
this top. I don't know why I have not drawn this on my needles.
You need to knit this one at least by next summer. This one I super, super easy. Again, throw on another.
And in this neutral color.
Yeah.
something about this neutral color I feel like makes a big difference.
Yes. I did it in, it's like a cream and then a white mohair.
White mohair.
Striped. Oh my God, I loved. This one I wear all the time too.
Love that one.
That's the Mount Pleasant tee by Pip and Pin.
Yes.
Oops. Like, who would have thought? I wouldn't have thought that these would be so worn, but they are. This one, okay, so this one's a lot cropped. I usually wear it with a like
dress,
with dresses or a high skirt.
That one's one of my favorite ones. And that one is in Life in the Long Grass.
Life in the Long Grass, yeah. A linen. This is also a linen merino, superwash merino. Funny enough, actually has that kind of feel.
Yeah.
To it.
Like a deep gold, deep bronze.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is like an undersung neutral.
Yes.
You know, like people talk about camel as being a neutral.
Yes.
Like camel is a neutral, but I feel like this is also a neutral. I
Absolutely.
feel like this is also like a knitter's neutral. I feel like this is one of those colors that as knitters, I don't know why it is that like, I noticed that this is a color that a lot of knitters like love, like sort of this like bronzy, goldy, like mustardy yellow. Like I don't know, I feel like it's in a lot of yarn lines. Like there's like a,
Because it has,
it's like rich and like makes me feel
like
cozy.
Saddle, like it's a different color, but saddle is another one of those neutrals where it's like it just works. You know when you get a purse that's in like a leather color, and you're like, oh my God, it just goes with everything.
Yeah.
And then I would say my other one, God, there's two more. This freaking vest by Tori I wear constantly.
And I feel like you know, you just cast it off.
I know.
And still, you know,
it's still up there.
We talked about this last episode. We'll link the like episode in the show notes. You'll find a link to the episode where we actually like go into depth about each of these FOs. If you're like just joining us now and want to hear about them,
we're kind of speeding through, but because you don't need to hear them probably all over again. But you know what though, like now I'm like. I wear this one all the time too.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Well, are there any that there are sweaters that I don't
We'll start
wear?
with most worn and then we'll start with like lesser and then we'll go into lesser worn.
This is, Jackie said earlier, the Ica.
I love this sweater.
Oh my God.
I wanted to knit the sweater in like that berry red for holidays. I was like with like shiny leather pants or like a holiday skirt. It was just a little too thick,
I guess, right? You said, like,
I don't know, like it just my lace looked horrible. But I love that.
I love that. Just easy. You throw it on and it actually. This isn't the best thing underneath it, but oh my God, I love this sweater. Those would be. And I didn't bring it, but oh no, this one too. Okay, I also this year, sorry, I guess we're just going off. This is just what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I got into Wonder Fluff by Knit Picks. Oh my God, Wonder Fluff. So this was a everybody has to knit this. I'm sorry, you just have to. It's a public service announcement. The totally tubular turtle tank. Sorry, you've seen this enough, right? This was in lace, Suri alpaca lace weight
from Bramble Ridge.
From Bramble Ridge. Vibrant Violet. Oh,
I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a hat with
this one. You have to message me.
That's okay.
Remind me.
You know me. That's never gonna happen. Maybe
you're never gonna get it.
Never gonna get it. That's okay. Oh my God. Okay, so this is just Wonder Fluff from Knit Picks is a blown yarn, and it's $9.99 US, I think, but it often goes on sale. I got ones for like $4 each. This it's like a bulky weight, so this tank took no time, and I wear this one to work all the time.
It's like it's the perfect. This is your Wellies Heather. They have like Wonder Fluff comes in like black, and then it comes in Wellies Heather, and the Wellies Heather is, I feel like, I mean, I've not actually looked at the black.
The black is also beautiful.
Like,
I have it upstairs.
Such a beautiful.
I've gone a little crazy on
Wonderful.
Yes, I I can't say enough. This really, honestly, she also has a long sleeve version that that's one of the things I'm gonna knit. But it's super, super fast. So soft. It's alpaca, probably polyamide, like nylon and wool.
70% baby alpaca, 7% merino wool, 23% nylon.
And just like really quite affordable, right?
142 yards per 50 grams.
I've been kind of using it for patterns. Anytime I see a pattern with like Puno, I think, Snefnug, like
a blown yarn sub.
Drops probably. Drops air.
Yeah.
You could probably sub this one Totally Tubular Turtle Tank by Park Williams, Park and Knit. I think is a just gorgeous
classic.
pattern.
So classic.
Like
the
you saw, I just
shaping,
throw it on
so
and I'm done. Like imagine, with some nice pants, like dress pants, and that's work.
Do you layer with that?
So then I'm just like, I'll throw this on, or, which I didn't bring, maybe I should go get it because I love it. My instant gratification cardigan.
Then you're like Wonder Fluffed.
I'm Wonder Fluffed.
Like double Wonder Fluff. Double fluff.
But like I just like.
Oh, it just so works.
It just works.
And I think there is something about a black turtleneck.
Yeah.
There is something about a black turtleneck and like that, like it's like a cool black.
It's so nice.
That, sheep's black tends not to be this black.
Yeah.
It's one of those moments where I'm like, thank you, dye. Dye is a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And actually I've had this for a few months, and I wear it all the time. I'm not really getting a lot of pilling.
Yeah, which is pretty amazing because often I feel like I one of my early knit projects was this beautiful cable pullover by Pam Allen that I knit in Drops Air, and did that sweater just like
fall apart.
Which is so tragic because it was so soft and it was so beautiful, but it didn't, for me at the gauge that I was knitting, hold up at all. But this looks like it's held up so well.
It's held up so well.
That's held single?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Hello,
I think it took 3, something like that.
It'll be in the
and this was a test, so you actually on my Ravelry, this one I have actually some details. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, maybe while you're starting to talk, I'm gonna go get my other one just because my whole sickness, I wore my instant gratification cardi. I loved it.
Was there something your rib wave? Did you want to get?
Oh yes, if I can find that one, I'm not sure. I also lost a cardigan. No idea. Oh, are you okay? Oh no, don't think me. Oh, Carmen, I was being so cool.
Okay, so here I am left in front of the camera. Like, what am I going to talk about? Okay, you guys have seen some of my most worn. So, basic gray, this like soft confection of a green. What else do I have? This is the Guernsey Genzer that I knit in one strand of Newton and one strand of Sonder Yarn Halo Mohair. This is definitely one of those, like, it's time to get cozy. I just want to, have some space between my body and my knit, like soft, wear this all the time. What is another most worn? Perhaps unsurprisingly.
Oh God, I love that.
I'll put mine on. This is my sweater number 28 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, which I cast on pretty much right after Carmen did. I have less positive ease on mine, and I bungled the collar in some sort of way, and I fold it in often like this as opposed to sort of having it turtlenecky. I tend to fold it in. But like, this is like probably one of my most worn, like, to work sweaters. I knit this in the basically like the undyed cream, or the undyed sheep color. Held with a strand of catnap, which is quite a bit darker, and I again just like love the wash that it gives.
You could even show the because you've got it there.
Oh yeah, this is the mohair.
Isn't that crazy?
Right?
Wow.
So this is definitely a most worn.
I love that one.
In terms of workwear,
oh yeah.
the other one that I wear a ton is the Chika.
I love this.
By Midori Hirose.
That is so pretty.
This is also Sonder Yarn, the DK held with one strand of mohair. And this is, the colorway is no longer available, but the main color was a color called Whale Watching, which of course I was like must have. And then the mohair is Delilah.
That's so pretty. It's so beautiful.
Like such a good staple.
I know. This is just easy, you know, throw over, but put together.
So work-wise, I would say like these two are my most worn. And then if I were to look at just like how many times did I put it on, because I hike quite often, this would go in there as like one of my like hike sweaters. And then this was a bit of a surprise to me. This might be my most worn sweater.
That's so funny because that is what she said. Like, she made this sweater.
The Traveler hoodie by Andrew Mowry, which I knit in my hand spun, all from Bramble Ridge.
So beautiful.
I just, this is like, it's funny because I'm not a hoodie person. Like if you were to look at my closet at like my like ready to wear, like, you know, sweats, I don't tend to buy hoodies. I have like crew neck, like if, you know, if, what am I sort of saying? Like sometimes you're like, oh, I went to some place and I want to get like a souvenir sweatshirt. I would never get a hoodie. I would always get the crew neck pullover version. Right. But there's something about this that I just like, whenever I'm like, oh, just, if we're traveling, I'm wearing it. If it's like slightly cold, I'm wearing it. Like I just got so much wear out of this. I think that there's something about, again, it's like really roomy. And it has all of the cozy details, like the hood, which when I knit it, I was kind of like, you know,
so big.
It's so big. Like, I'm not a hood person. Am I really gonna wear the hood? But like, I would say 50% of the time I'm in this thing, it's because I want to like be cozied in.
And that hood just looks perfect on you, though.
Thank you. That's all Andrew Mowry, the way that she shaped this hood. Like the hood is like, I'm traveling, I'm cozy, and there's also something I think about the garter. Fabric that just,
it's squish.
It's like squish and drape at the same time. I'm often doing like this. This is definitely one of my most worn.
Even the little like I-cord, little like, look how cute this is.
And I also wonder whether there's like a little bit of like, you know, hand spun magic in it because it's hand spun. There's a certain amount of coziness that I feel about that sweater.
And the dyer too, right? Because like Megan puts her.
And then same thing. This one gets worn a ton.
Which is extra surprising because it has that like fluorescence and you are not necessarily like what you would say you would use all the time, but.
This one I would say I wore a lot through like the summer. It was like it really was like exactly as Andrew Mowry like talked about. It was like, oh, it's the end of the day, I'm wearing a pair of shorts. Like I'm in yoga clothes and I just like want a little cozy sweatshirt moment.
So cute.
The Traveler hoodie. This is the Traveler pullover, also in Bramble Ridge. This was in her Dashful colorway, and it was a Rambouillet. And I do actually think, I will say that part of the reason why I think this was worn so much is because Rambouillet is so super soft and zero prickle. And so and squish. So it was also something that I was like, you know, I'm not having to think about like, do I have a shirt underneath? Like, it just is such a throw on, and the squish in the garter is like that.
I love it.
Oh. If we really though want to talk about like what knitwear is on my body like 24/7,
as it should be.
It's this shawl.
The sex shawl.
The diatom shawl by Kemi Despoteau, which I knit in Sonder Yarn Mohair held double, the Halo and Dirty Weekend.
Oh
and then the contrast color is this like beautiful mossy green from Lindsay Artifacts of Appreciation. It was a Haunui Cashmere Shetland BFL blend.
Perfection.
That I just like must have at all times. Like, I feel like this is like my, you know, like Linus's blanket, like this is my blanket, just like all of the time,
as it should be.
It basically moves from like purse to purse so that I just have it available at any time that I want. And there's something about this color again that I'm like, it's like a neutral. Like, I don't know how it works.
Look at
with,
it.
like,
It's
everything.
going here with this perfectly. There's no, you know.
Which you would not.
I could wear this with that too.
Yeah.
Everything will work.
Yeah, this is definitely one of my most worn items. Looking at like, it's interesting, right? Because one of the things, like looking at everything, the pile, I won't show you the pile, but the pile of like things next to me, when I think about like what did I knit a lot of, I knit a lot of garments. And I think in past years I probably knit more shawls that like I didn't, this was not a big shawl knitting year for me.
That's true.
Which is kind of surprising. So one of my like intentions for this year in terms of my knitting is I'd really love to invest time into more shawls. I mean, I have a shawl wall in my house. Like, it's not like as epic as Amy Palco's, but like, you know, there's actually no more space on my shawl wall for shawls. Like, we'd have to install a second wall for the shawls. But there is something, I think, for me that somehow a shawl feels more timeless to me than a garment.
Interesting. Well, I think it's, but partly because of how you use shawls too, and how it is
like it's a talisman. Yeah, and I wear them.
Yeah. Like I don't wear my shawls as much. I don't think about, like I never wear this.
It makes me
it's
so
gorgeous.
It's so gorgeous.
I know. Why don't I don't. It's not that I never ever wear it, but I don't think about it. It doesn't come to mind.
I also feel like it's been a cardi year for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like for you, a shawl and a cardi, like, have a similar purpose.
Yes. And I prefer the cardi.
And you prefer the cardi.
I prefer my arms.
Whereas I, interestingly, I think I prefer a shawl.
Yeah. Interesting.
There's something about the coziness factor, but I do think shawl size is important. And this is probably in the range of shawls that I have smaller than the other shawls, and I think that's also made a difference in terms of how often I wear it. That it's smaller, or that like the fabric is just like I want to be in it all the time. But that it's smaller and it's also a neutral and doesn't have much of a pattern. Because I think a lot of the shawls that I have loved, that I love like knitting and I think are like amazing. Like this one actually gets a lot of play. It's just like hard to style. To think about, and I think about the artist as being like super gorgeous, but it's kind of like the shawl is the outfit.
It is.
And so I think part of the reason this is so well worn is because it is essentially neutral.
Yeah.
But in the knitting of it, it was so fun to knit. It had that like shawl excitement vibe in the knitting process, but in the end, really pretty neutral.
It's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love it.
Do you have things that you...
Oh, hold on. Let me just show.
Yeah.
I do. I like have things that I'm not wearing because I feel like the need to say it, and I want to say that's not because of anything wrong with the pattern.
No.
But I also, in case it makes you think of something, you know, like
about your choices, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not nothing to knit. Even fast things are still. You know, like if we get a sweater done in like 2 weeks like this, we're like, wow, that's a really fast knit. Like that's still 2 weeks of knitting, right?
Oh my God, I love this cardigan.
Honestly, I just can't. I've been wearing this cardi.
Do you always wear it as a pullover? How often are I watched you put it on as a pullover.
I have been noticing that I wear it as a pullover more often, even though I keep having to fix. I need to fix this and I still don't, but whatever. Who cares? I like it. It's like wearing a shawl. This is what you were just saying is exactly the case. Like it's a shawl that stays. I do wear it like this though too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just love this freaking sweater so much. And when I was sick, it was what I wanted. It was what I wanted to just put on. Like.
Well, I feel like if I were to look at all of your most worn, it's like this was the year for you of layering.
Yes.
And like light, open, soft knits.
Yes.
Like
and
everything is super.
They're all single color.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, wait a second, Carmen. I'm literally looking at my pile and I'm like, oh my God, they're all single. All of them.
Yeah.
Here's the rib wave. Love this one.
Well, I mean, yes, it also kind of makes sense though, because I think because you're like in a layering season of life.
I am.
And so like if you're gonna be in a layering season, I mean, of course, they're like layering prints is like a whole thing, and I love like the layering of prints, but it's like it's extra.
Yeah.
Like there's extra thought required.
I don't always have extra.
And
yeah, we really. I don't always. I pretty much never do.
No, I feel like you're extra. I feel like you use your extra for other things and not like matching prints together, which is a skill that is necessary. But yeah, like lots of like layers.
Yeah.
Layers and things that are like lacy and open and like breezy and airy, and then like the
can just
softest.
be worn together and absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know that I like. Do I feel like I have a theme in terms of things that I wear a ton? I don't know that I do.
You have. I think
it help me. I don't know.
There is the shape that works for you, which like that kind
it's
of
like
wider,
I love a wide boxy.
You do like and so like all the Friday I'm in Loves have that kind of look. Even the like Andrea Mowry one.
The traveler.
Both of those have like that.
Boxy.
I think that's the like your sweet spot.
Yeah.
So it might be different in terms of like what comes out of it, but it's going to be that look that feels really good for you.
Oh, I would not have thought about that at all as like a cohesive theme. You're so smart. I'm so glad we did this.
Me too.
I do think that this was the year of like, so there is definitely the.
Do you have to go inside, baby? You want to get the scrub?
It was definitely the year of like maybe like we'll say boxier fits and cropped fits, but this was also the year that I discovered I really love like this kind of horizontal stripey situation. I don't know, there's something about this that I really like, as opposed to like a round yoke kind of situation, is that I really love this because lots of lines. Things that you
thought that
you would wear a lot, but didn't happen.
So I've still never worn this. I've not worn it, not once. I love it. It's super, super soft. It fits super nicely.
It has it's got negative ease though. It's soft with negative ease.
Yeah.
Because we didn't do yarn math properly, and we were like, oh, we just need 2 of these. And then I ended up playing yarn chicken all the way until the end.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to come back in?
Jeez Louise. But I think it also speaks to like what I was saying earlier about
gasp one color.
Yes. Like I love, and actually it's interesting thinking about the Ninilchik, right? Like the poncho, where I'm so drawn to those colors. It's so beautiful. Will I wear it? Will I wear it? Because this has that kind of feel to it for sure. I love this. Beautiful. I just don't wear it. Another one.
It's like, where would you wear it? I mean, this is the question.
It's true. It did
you have to think about like
it
life,
was more of the
right?
like Christmassy, like we were thinking these were our bauble sweaters,
we
right?
were like Christmas ornaments.
And fair enough, this Christmas is maybe I would have worn it if I wasn't like in bed the whole time. But
I mean, I didn't bring mine. I also knit one, which I love the colors. I love that it was our friendship knit. I love like the memories in it. But 100% the minute that the Ninilchik swoncho like came off, like once I knit this, I was like, I know my instant crush is not going to get as much play because it's like similar vibe,
this is
except
just more. There's something different about this.
For me, it's the ease. It's that my instant crush has like
it's
0 to -1, like a negative ease. Like it's, and so it's kind of this funny like juxtaposition because on the one hand, it's basically a kitten. It's so soft, it's so cozy, but it's tight.
It is tight.
And so I feel like soft and cozy and tight don't go together for me.
Especially
you know what I mean?
Like warm, like because it's a Christmas.
So warm.
The thing is, you think almost like, oh good, let's get a really cozy sweater for Christmas. But no, like if you're gonna wear it to a party, parties are turned up because the like, you know,
there's people
the heater, and the heater's on. Like it's actually cooler to wear something like this in the summer, I think. Like, at a party.
And I mean, I still love this color combination so much. It's such a good color combo. But when I like think about your life, Carmen,
I'm not wearing this
Carmen
to work.
Wearing this, right?
I'm a therapist. I'm not wearing that to work. Like, and I don't even think it, like Jackie, you're even more intentional about wanting to blend in, you know, with the things. I don't even think that, and I still am like, that's a lot. Like,
I also like when I look at it, I feel like it's kind of like it's kind of funny because I have another sweater here that I feel like straddles the same situation that I'm actually going to give to you. But it's like it is not casual enough to be casual and it's not dressy enough to be dressy.
Yes.
Like it's like it lives in this like confusing place. And I think that it would be perfect as a holiday sweater.
Yes.
At the same time, and this is the case with mine, I like for me, a holiday sweater, it has a certain color palette. Like the holidays have a palette.
Yeah.
This
is definitely not.
And this is like, it's just like one step, like it's like almost
like
summery.
Easter. It's got Eastery vibes.
But gosh, when I look at it, I'm like, oh, you're so glorious.
Do you know, okay, so there's this one like reel that comes out every like around this time or whatever. And it's this beautiful woman. I can't remember. She's a designer. And she's like from Finland or something, and she's skating on the lake. Have you seen this? And she skates beautifully, like figure skates, and she's flipping around and on this gorgeous lake with mountains all around her. If I had reason to be on figure skates on a frozen lake, this would be the perfect sweater for me to wear for that.
Yeah.
Now, is that gonna happen? No. I don't even think I can figure skate anymore.
You can figure skate.
I used to have figure skates.
And
now
you can like spin around and do all that kind of stuff.
No. I mean, even just wearing figure skates. Because the look, it has to be figure skates. I can't wear this with a pair of hockey
No,
skates.
you cannot. No, you cannot.
So if I was wearing that and looked like her skating.
Yeah.
Now I know, you know what? At least I have the outfit.
Can I tell you what actually happens to mine, which I feel like is like, I don't know, I have some sort of like, I shouldn't say this out loud, but it's real. Like, do you know, like one of my cats friggin' loves this sweater so much. So much. And
lies
so,
on
like,
it? Oh my
lies on it. And I think to myself, this was like how many skeins of
so
lemon
much
like
money. Like
so
that's probably
so much money. With our dollar, like I don't even like. Let's not do that.
That might be my most expensive sweater. Like honestly, probably.
Yeah, but for me, you know, like I did have the thought. I actually did have the thought. If I were like a sewist, I would absolutely make this into a pillow.
I mean, it's not that hard.
Like it's like I had the thought I would make it into a pillow, and then I thought I might take the.
Or arm warmers. I could wear those as arm warmers.
Because these arm warmers are more wearable. 100%. Are more wearable for your figure skating moment. Carmen, when are you gonna wear these just as arm warmers?
Actually, I could wear this under, like if this was just an arm warmer underneath. I don't know. 2 little like. I don't know. That's not.
But I did have the thought of like, okay, I'm gonna take the body and I would like make it into a little like pillow situation, or like I was like, could I like sew the two, like actually like open it up so that it became like a little like blanket kind of thing, because it's really cute and it fits the decor in my house, like mine.
It's
and then
so
I was
cute.
like, what can I do with this? I was like, you know, like cute little headband. Look how cute that is.
Yeah, see, now if I went to a festival, that would be perfect for that. But again, I don't do these things. But I have the outfit ready.
But again, I do, like, it is one of those things that, like, the reason I thought maybe I should make it into homeware is because although I don't wear it on my body, like it gives me such happy, like happy memories, because the meaning of, like, you know, like it was just like the bright spot of our first Rhinebeck. And so like
fun.
You know, not wearable, but still, like, if I could go back, like if there was the option for me to just like snap my fingers and reclaim all the yarn and it's no longer this sweater, I wouldn't reclaim it.
No, it still has to be put together just like
this.
Absolutely. I love it. I love this look, and it's very me. I have not worn it so far.
I'm interested to see 6 months from now if this entire conversation leads it to land on your body a little bit more.
Maybe. We never know.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you feel like is like not, that you thought was going to be a staple that have we saged this one? Has this been cleared of its like pain energy yet? I don't think so. I feel like it's like vibrating with like irritation. I really thought that this was going to be one.
It's so cute.
It's so cute. And it also fits into your layers situation.
Yeah, it does.
So why, Carmen?
I don't know.
I think it's because the color story doesn't go with the rest of your life.
It doesn't. I think it's hard to wear it to work too. Yeah, this was a lot of work.
Like, it's almost too sporty.
Yeah.
It's like too
varsity kind of
like it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful, but it's not your like aesthetic right now in this season.
That's right.
It's so cute though.
It is cute.
It is really cute.
Yeah, so that one never got worn. I will say, okay, so this is funny. I love my Henley. Like, so this was a test knit by Tori. I love it.
This is the Courage pullover?
Courage Henley.
Courage Henley.
I just don't wear Henley. I don't think to myself to wear the Henley. I think I gotta fix that. Something maybe that's part of it.
I do think that that's worth thinking about, actually. I mean, I feel like this is like a commonly touted thing in the podcast world, which is like, we should fix our knits. But I do like it was something that I was curious about when if any of the ones that were like not worn, could they be worn if you like adjusted it?
Yeah, maybe.
You know, like when I think about my Instant Crush, if I had knit this, if I knit my Instant Crush with like 5 inches of positive ease,
right,
I think I would be wearing the bedoodled out of it, because
really?
It would be like, oh, I need some cozy, I'm putting it on, right?
Yeah.
But this is like, I'm cozy and and it's like fitted. I think it looks really cute fitted, actually. I think that like fitted vintage was part of it. Like, it
really
wasn't
good.
just yarn chicken, but there was something about like vibe plus yarn choice that it's like a bit of a contradiction.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's so pretty. I just don't, maybe my sleeves are too short. It's a little bit cool. It's not cozy.
I do think that sleeves could be longer.
Yeah.
But you tend to like a 3/4 sleeve.
I
But I feel like the vibe of the sweater is like cozy vibe.
I think it's actually getting along the same thing that you said here with this like athletic look.
Yeah.
Like a Henley is athletic to me.
Yeah.
Like it's like maybe that's it. It's not that I don't love it, and that's why I want to bring it up. It's like beautiful.
Yeah.
And when I wear it, I mean the wool is so beautiful. This is our like the layers orchard. Like love it. I don't know. That's not one that gets reached for.
What's funny is when I look at you wearing it with jeans on, it's gorgeous, but I don't think this is Carmen. But when you wore it with a skirt, I was like, that is the most Carmen outfit I've ever seen in my life.
The little plaid skirt.
Yeah, little plaid skirt. Because I think it's like
that it's preppy or
yeah, it's preppy. Like it's your aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I still think that there's a version of this that has the longer plaid skirt.
Yes.
With boots.
Yes, totally. Yeah. It's not that I don't like it. I do. I just thought I would wear it more often.
Yeah.
I don't wear it as much as I thought I would.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that. I'm surprised this is not on a high wear list.
So this is a good point that listen to your desires. Okay? And when you think
knit to pattern, friends.
When you think that you're like, well,
I love it
good.
though.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this is the Mestiha by Thea Coleman. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous sweater.
Okay, my bladder.
So what she said, yeah, no problem. What she told me, okay, so what I had done is as I was making this, oh my God, pizza. As I was making it, it was looking really nice, like on its own. And like, so you're knitting it back and forth and then you're picking up for the button band, which would have started, let's say here. And as I was wearing it, I really liked the lines of that. And I thought to myself, oh, do I really want to add the button band that she does, which is a large kind of ribbed, thick button band. And she was super supportive. She was sweet. She like watched our podcast and then gave me suggestions. And one of the things was I wasn't even going to add as much as I did here, but she encouraged me to do that so that it sat nicely. And I think that that's the problem. So I ended up adding this picot edge. So I just did like a stockinette, so then folded it over. But because it's too wide, it kind of falls off in a way that's annoying. I don't know if you heard that.
Oh, yeah. This is what
it's just slightly falling off too much.
And the fabric doesn't have enough drape to be one of those folly-offy things. Yes. I feel like you like a
I do, because that one falls, my other one. Yes. But this one falls off in this like really kind of, it's just hovering, and then I'm like, and it's exactly what Thea Coleman said was going to happen.
Do you think that there's a fix?
Easily, 100%. I could do the button band.
I love the picot.
Well,
is there some sort of fix back here?
That's the piece. It is. It has to be
like
bigger.
Is there some sort of bigger?
Or no, sorry, not bigger.
Smaller.
Tighter. Like, yeah.
Like, what if you like put an elastic in? What if you just like thread an elastic through?
Do you think so?
She who does not knit cardigans and has never put an elastic through everything. But like when I look at it, like what it's that it's too wide and we need to like bring it in, right?
Well, and that's what makes me think if it was thicker, then it would come.
What did Thea say you needed to do?
She encouraged me not to. Well,
modify.
I was gonna say it was. I was just gonna. I cord it off, and she's like, I think you need a little more.
Oh, because you needed more width.
Yeah. And so I added a whole inch, thinking that's 2 inches then.
Right.
Not enough. But hers was going to be 3 and 3, right? To like cut it. I think it was something like 3. I think it just needs maybe like a little bit more. It's not that I don't wear this. I actually do wear this sweater. It's not a never wearing one because it is just really beautiful.
Did you put buttons on it?
No.
You think if you put buttons on it, you would wear it more?
Just because of the buttons?
Because I think if you put the buttons in it, then the falling wouldn't be an issue.
Okay, fair enough. I do wear that other one closed a lot. I don't know if I made it tall, big enough. You know what I should do is actually just like, I could just wear it with a shawl pin and just see if that makes a difference. I do wear this. It's just, I changed one thing in this pattern, and that was the thing that made it not very wearable.
Yeah.
If I just followed it.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so beautiful though.
It is.
And like and I'm like so attached to the like modification that you made to the collar to do that little picot edge.
I do
like
love
I'm like I would hate for that to go by the wayside, for that to be gone.
I think I could probably just reknit. I don't know, we'll see what I do. What are you doing with my sweater then?
Sweater. So again, it's this like.
This is the look.
The look.
You love this.
I love this. Didn't know I loved it. It's interesting because I feel like often, like if you were to go through like things that I favorited or patterns that make me go like, I love a turtleneck on other people.
But you don't like to wear it, or you don't like looking
I don't think that a turtleneck, I mean, I could put on that like totally tubular turtleneck, but I feel like, I don't know, either the feeling of a turtleneck or me wearing a turtleneck, like it just doesn't.
Put it on.
It doesn't. See. I feel like it, I don't know. Like I love a mock neck. Yeah. But I love, you know, I think about a lot of the like, which one's
it should have a little, I put the little here. This is the back.
A lot of the like, you know, Nordic Scandi designers, they have all these like dramatic turtleneck things, and I'm always like, oh my god, that's gonna be so beautiful. But when I think about, or maybe my turtlenecks just need to be tight, I don't know.
I think that looks beautiful.
I mean, okay, this does look good.
I love a turtleneck. Gorgeous. Did you ever try this one on?
I did.
Yeah.
I did, and I was like, I should knit it, and then I got distracted. But where is the, like I have, this was one of my favorite knits.
I wear this one all the time. I love this one.
Which is the,
what was it called?
Turtleneck on turtleneck. This is the Gujo collar by Agio Knits. I feel like maybe I can do a turtleneck, it just needs to be like fitted. Tighter.
That looks beautiful to me.
Thank you. I feel like the earrings help.
Yeah.
Like,
still beautiful.
I don't know, I think I like turtleneck and dangly earrings or something like that. But oh my god, this fabric is truly something.
It really is.
It really is something.
I have to say.
Like, okay, what don't I wear that I thought I would wear more of?
What about the book club?
The book club cardi?
Yeah.
I don't wear that. I mean, that's not been off the needles for that long.
True, that's not that long.
But I think there's a example of something that I love but is not my aesthetic, even though I want it to be.
Yeah.
It's like, again, I don't know, it's maybe a little too preppy for me.
Right.
I mean, the other thing that I will say is that I have a white cat, and the white cat has only been a part of our family for 2 years, but I had another white, like our cat before Koa was also white, but she lived upstairs, and Koa lives everywhere where there's knitwear. And so I feel like part of the reason I always look at this thing, I'm like, I have to like de-cat it in a very significant way.
I think it's just
when I
so
put this on,
gorgeous.
I love it. I don't know why I don't wear it.
I know. I love that cardi.
But I think, you know, like, I could wear this to work, but I wouldn't. Because I feel like it's a little preppy for me.
Interesting.
But now that I'm putting it on, I mean, I love the way that this feels. Probably if I just let it go to the cat hair, I would probably put this on at home more often.
Right.
Like just as a cozy sweater. Because from like a cozy perspective, it's so cozy. I do think that I need to shawl pin it.
I think so.
I mean, I did make buttonholes, so I could add buttons if I wanted to, but I feel like maybe if I added buttons, maybe.
Do you think, I'm just wondering because I'm noticing like in the other one too, like you knit them cropped, but then you pull, and it might just be here, but you do pull a lot here. I wonder, like, do you think maybe you need a little slightly longer
on a cardigan?
For
it's
you to
possible.
Be happier?
I think all of the cardis that I've knit, I knit them thinking that I'm gonna wear them with dresses and stuff.
Right, and then it's like, do you?
No. Yeah, I think you just hit the nail on this one. Could I extend this? Was this top down? Could I knit it longer? I could knit this one longer.
Yeah.
How did I wear this? I was wearing this with a skirt.
Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful. I'm just wondering.
Yeah. I think this one probably could do with being longer because it's like vibe.
Yeah.
Is like.
It is
it's
cozy,
like a cozy
library
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thoughts?
It's like when we, I feel like we had this discussion about sleeve length too. And then I brought it up with my Henley too. Like, so sometimes I think, like actually when I was doing the red sweater that I just finished, I'm like, I really said to myself, don't go too short on the sleeves. Like, I think right now I really want longer sleeves. So like keep going past where like, because I like a short sleeve too, like a bracelet length, but actually I think wearability, sometimes I like it that length, but it's actually like, there's a sweet spot with my sleeves that I'm now realizing, at least in this moment of my life, I want it to be.
You want it
longer.
Which is interesting because you also went through like a shortened sleeve phase.
Totally.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I wonder what I would do with this one. I will say that like the way that I do wear this is that I have a pair of like nice high-waisted jeans. Mm-hmm. And so I'll wear it with like high-waisted jeans and a black tank top. And I like love that outfit times a billion. But I would say that probably is not my intrinsic style.
Right.
Like,
well,
in terms of how right?
It's deciding like what is our style. I remember, so we talked about colors and stuff, and there's also discussion about style.
Like style words or whatever.
Right. Like in that you are like classical or you're whatever. There were like 8 or something. I don't know. Romantic and boho.
What's that called? It's called. Go ahead.
And for me, it's funny because I remember at the time it was like, oh, it didn't actually capture all the things because I have also like a rocker look that I wear a lot of like ripped jeans and stuff, and that wasn't like included in the style. But there are these like maybe places that just, it was like this idea that just like a color will work with your body against your own decisions of what will look good. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That there's actually like styles that will look good or not look good. Even if you like them, they may not fit your body.
Yeah.
And dressing according to that.
I'm trying to find, I feel like a kibbe. Oh. Have you heard about kibbe? Okay, so like sort of, so kibbe, it talks about there being body types.
Yes.
Related to like size and like shape.
But proportion.
But also like a friend of mine went through this with me, and we like could not figure out what my kibbe thing was, even though we like did the quiz and all that kind of stuff. But they look like, it's not like, oh, are you petite? Are you tall?
Yeah.
Are you do you have more long lines in your body, or do you have like curves in your body? Yes. They're also asking things like, what's the proportion of your eyes to your mouth?
Yes.
What's the shape of your mouth? Like it really is about like cool. things. It was cool. And so there's like 7 archetypes, and they talk about like there's like romantic, and there's something called like gaming, and it is like a style, but it's a style of proportion and shapes, as opposed to sort of saying like, sometimes I think style is about like, what's your character, like maybe like
that's
boho
why there's no
is a character
one, right? Because that would be like a way of being as opposed to the actual
but I do think I think that's something that could be interesting to like explore. That I think when I looked at like, it's like KIBBE, if you Google it, like you'll be able to see all the mood boards and sort of see the things. And I remember like looking at it and having a sense that I didn't really know which one I fit into in terms of like my archetype. But also when I looked at it, it was really interesting because I didn't feel drawn to any one particular style or wardrobe. Like if you looked at the like capsule wardrobes that got put together for each of the archetypes, I basically was like, I'm not going to follow this, because when I look at each of the wardrobes, I'm not attracted to like any of them. But like if you put like boho there, I would be like, that one, right? And for you, it would be like
I think
rock, like rocker, like you would be like, I would absolutely put you in that category, right? Just naturally. So I feel
that's what we like. Whereas versus the colors, right?
Kibbe is also about what is going to enhance your natural beauty.
Yes, and you're not, like, there are colors, for example, the yellows and stuff that I like. They don't like me. And so this idea of, like, is there a way of looking and proportion and things that actually, like, works, whether you like it or not, it looks good on you?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like, I wonder, maybe, things like my, like, the sporty look I like on others. I just don't think it fits me.
I feel like for me, style is an expression of personality more than color is an expression of personality. Sure. Does that make sense?
Totally.
And so I feel that's probably why I was like, you know, quite not resistant, but like I was just not so curious about the Kibbe archetypes, because I looked at the wardrobe, like the styles, and I was like, oh, I can see these as distinct style types, and I can see, like, I could see people that I knew in them being like, oh, like that's their style, and they also look great in it, and they also embody it well. But it sort of fits with their personality.
I know.
So style is kind of a funny thing.
But does it look good too? Does it look, well, again, this is going back to what looks good and what we were talking about.
Flattering,
you know, the number of things where people wear clothes when they start. My mother had this happen where she started, we got her colors done at the same time, and she found out her colors, and there were colors that she would never wear before, but it looked amazing. And it's like, well, she might have, like, so there might be colors that I associate with her, but they don't look as good as some other ones.
Is that a garage door?
No, I don't think so. Oh, okay. I think it could be, maybe it's, oh, you know what, it's probably mail. That was mail.
Oh, yeah.
If you couldn't hear that. Guys, come here. Pizza. We're almost done, babies.
Yeah, interesting. Like that there are certain styles that really do match your personality. You won't be able to see it, but the people around you will be like, oh my gosh, that like enhances who you are.
Yeah, like you look better even if it's not the style that you would choose. Like, I am not attracted to that gammon look. The like flower, there was a lot of prints and flowers and beautiful
like
dresses and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like that for myself, but what if, like, it wasn't, but what if that was gonna be best for me, even if I didn't like it?
But best like it's flattering, or best like you look like you?
No, like it's flattering.
Yeah, interesting.
Like the color
I think
thing.
I have like such a strong reaction to that.
Right, because it's subjective, I guess.
Because it's subjective, and because I think because I think that style is an expression of personality.
Yeah.
And I don't like the idea of someone sort of saying like you should look more rockerish, or like you should be more preppy, because somehow to me that it ties into personality.
Right. And then you're being limited.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like I think when we did it, the one that was like my highest was like romantic, and so the like suggestion with romantic is like you should always have like waist defined, and there should always be a frill.
That's like
there
should
always be a frill. Like there should always be, you know, like there's got to be like extra movement, like ruffles texture. Yeah. And I was like,
I don't like that.
I don't like that. Like even if you could if I could objectively see that this, you know, like made my eyes pop or something like that.
Yeah.
I intrinsically am like extra frills is not
who I
am in the world.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. And because you're right, color maybe won't tell a story the way that this would, and like in terms of who you are as a person and how people will see you.
Yeah.
I see
and how you occupy the world.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
and what people expect of you.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's interesting.
But I think, you know, the idea of having some guiding principles in terms of like aesthetic, I think this conversation that we've had has been quite revealing for me.
Yeah.
In terms of like things that are worn and not worn. And I think, you know, like it probably goes without, it's probably like super simple, but sometimes I feel like it's like the super simple things that we forget, which is that like knitting and thinking about how the thing is going to fit in your wardrobe.
Yes.
You know, and like, of course there's like, when we went, of course there's the fun things. Like, of course there's, you know, like, okay, is this going to match something else that I wear? But also for me, I think like it's been super helpful to think about context. It's like,
yes,
what am I getting dressed for?
This is
like when I get dressed,
and practicality.
Like, what's the setting that I get dressed for?
And exactly. And for me, the setting is beyond just the actual setting, like human wise, like sociologically, but also the actual setting. Like, how cold is it? How hot? What, like, is there breeze? Am I sitting? Am I moving? Am I, like, you know, are you hiking? And then if you're hiking and you start getting sweaty and it's that time of your like cycle, then oh my gosh, that factors in, right? Like, so there's a lot. It's true. And it's making me actually, so, we talked about the make nines. So I was like, I left it till yesterday. Didn't think about it. But what came to me actually, but it's interesting because I feel like it's coming along with all of what we've been talking about. I want to make a make nine that is, well, it's along what we said before, but I want a full head to toe knit outfit.
I love that.
And it's going to be, I was like, and then I was thinking, I want them in specific things. So my first one is a Scandi knit outfit. So what would a Scandinavian, like someone, from Denmark, and what would my whole outfit look like, from my hat to my little scarfy thing that I wear to my a vest and a cardi and a skirt and socks and the shoes that go with my little socks and my arms. And so I was like, that's what I'm going to do for my make nine, my first one. And then I was thinking to myself, ooh, but you know what so that's a look I like.
Yeah. And that's inside of your aesthetic.
That
right?
works
so
with me, right? Because it's that's what I like. Yeah. My other thing that I really like is Marie Wallin. It's what's a UK island, but old, fisherman sweater, anything. Basically, this girl, what is she wearing head to toe? And
keep talking. I just wanted. There's a photo that I'm like, this is Carmen.
Yes, right. Yes, when she's standing on the cliff.
Yes.
Yes.
Where's that photo of her on the cliff?
It's near the beginning, if I remember, because I remember flipping through and being like, that's who I want to be. Anyway, so those are going to be maybe I make two and make nines, but it's that I want a full, but it's going along with what you said. They're all going to fit each other, and I'm going to wear them.
Page.
It's the first page, of course. But who's Carmen in that?
Yeah.
If Carmen was that, what would she wear? If Carmen was the Scandinavian, that, what am I going to wear? Yeah. So that's what I'm going to come up with my bundles, and then I'm going to try to knit them, and then they're all going to work together, because instead of most things work together anyway. And if you have certain yarns, Newton will always work together. Sonder always works together, Yeah. But if I'm already thinking in advance of this, then I'm going to have this, it'll almost be like a capsule, but it's also a single outfit.
Yeah. And I also think it plays in with what we've sort of discovered, which is that layering is your thing right now.
Right. When you said that earlier, I was like, see, that's it. Yeah. Because I want everything. I want to layer it all on and have it all just work. So that's my make nine.
I love that so much. I in terms of my make nine, I had a couple of thoughts. So I have not landed there. It's still in nebulous form. But what's interesting is that, okay, so one of the make nines is entirely came from the crowdsourcing, which is from this community. And they were like, my make nine is going to be these 9 yarns.
Beautiful.
And I was like, that's so genius.
Yes.
And okay, here's the other thing I was going to say. What I was going to say is I'm trying to settle on my make nines that I think there's not going to be 9. It's just more different collections. Because I thought to myself, if I do one make nine, I make more than 9 things over the course of the year. So it's I could at least have 2.
Yeah.
And still have room for things that come up that don't fit inside, right?
Yes.
That don't fit inside. But I feel like one of the make nines that's based on yarn use or stash, yarn stash, I feel like I really want to do that and do my very, very best to make each of the 9 categories very different from each other.
Interesting. Oh, so almost the opposite of
cool. Because I feel like the yarn stash one for me feels like the one that's the most has the most flexibility in it, because if I just sort of say these are the 9 yards that I want to work with, that's not so unlike how how the knitting happens for me anyways.
Totally. Yeah. When we go to Rhinebeck and we get our bow layers,
right?
And our boondoggle.
So, but the idea that of that 9, do I have diversity inside of it? Because I think left to my own devices, I'm so tried and true, yes. Right?
That's
that
right.
I'm just going to keep going back to the yarns that I love.
And the same shape within it.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Oh,
that
you mean
part.
diversity?
I meant diversity in the yarn choice.
Oh,
it's
interesting.
I want to do something in a blown yarn. I want to do something when I look at the yarn choices,
Yes.
Because I actually started to make it, like, I started to, like, line them up, and I'm like, Jackie, these are all, like, the same. Like, essentially, they are all, like, 3-ply farm yarns. Because all I can think about is in various shades of sheep's sheep shades, and it's because all I'm thinking about is cables. I'm like, a cable sweater in this one, and cable sweater in that one, and cable sweater in that one, and like, of course, it's like what came first. I picked all of those yarns because I was in a cable mood.
Yes.
But I also think that if I make different choices inside of the yarn, that might encourage me to knit sort of different things, because I do think that yarn calls out to be different things potentially. Yeah. So just to sort of add some diversity to my knitting. So that was like one of the things. The other thing that I want to do is I'm just going to do a 4. I'm going to do a spin 4, in which I'm going to like endeavor to spin 4 different things, whether it's like 4
products, you
like
mean?
4, yeah, like 4 spin projects.
Cool.
Whatever those are, because I have an extensive spin stash.
So do I.
And I love it so much. And part of the reason, at least for me, like, you're very good at just like, I'm gonna get it on the wheel, but like, I can't spin something unless I know what it's gonna be.
Oh, gotcha.
And so the idea of having like a spin 4 is just like choosing 4 projects for spinning, so that my brain will start to think about like, what do I want to make? Like, what could happen? But my make 9, which is kind of actually, funnily enough, complete, like, it's like this picture did something to us, evidently.
Yeah.
Like this like, I'm like, oh, I understand a mood board now.
Just that.
But my other make 9 is like, I wanted to have a list of like 9 concept words. Mm-hmm. And part of it is because what I recognize is that this has been a year of like yarn exploration, adjusting my knitting for my new skin sensitivity, and then also like lots of color experiments. Like, that's sort of, I would say, like the theme of my like knitting year if I looked at 2024.
Yes. Yeah.
And what I have moved away from, which evidently actually is a major driver in what gets worn, is like meaning, is like, you know, what does this represent? What does it remind me of? Like, the idea of knits as like sacred spaces or knits as talismans. I think I was really outwardly focused in terms of like, how is this going to be wearable for work? Because I would like to have wearable workwear. It ended up becoming more pragmatic, like more externally focused, and a little bit less like internally focused. Not that those knits don't have meaning. Yeah. They develop meaning, but it's not the same meaning as this. Like this, it has significance to me. So the idea was to, I've been like jotting down sort of different, words that would be like concept words. And like one of the things that I wrote down was like foggy mornings.
Oh, I love that.
Right. And then the other one is like on the edge of a cliff, like, which was very much like, you know, that came from this. Right. And so this idea of really looking at fairly like non-specific moods or like concepts.
Yes.
And for me, like all of them were like around nature. The other thing that I was thinking about doing was doing like elemental stuff. And looking at, okay, if I'm gonna do 2 of something, like if I'm gonna knit 2 cable sweaters, like one of them has to, like, I can't do 2 watery cable sweaters. Like one has to be fire and one has to be like earth or that kind of thing. Cool. So I'm still playing with it. But I remember at some point there was either someone on Instagram or someone or a podcaster was doing, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so intense. But they basically were doing like they took their make 9 or make 12 and were doing a year of like one particular designer and had done all the, like that designer and then also, and picked the patterns and had the yarn to go with the patterns. Now I'm like, I cannot be corralled in this way. But what was I like the idea of it. But what was they had the little fishbowl. And there were just like little slips of paper that were like, you know, like the design and the and the yarn, and just like put it in the fishbowl, and like it was just like whatever comes out is what I'm gonna put on my needles next.
Yes.
And so in terms of like the concept words, like that's how I feel like I want to do it, is that like, you know, when I cast something off, I like put it in and like I pull out like foggy morning, and then I have lots of like. Then there's like, it's a fairly blank slate, but it's also very
there's some structure. It's like we were talking about the ransom notes game, right?
Yeah.
Where there's the cue or something. So like you don't get to choose what the like prompt is. You're gonna do that, and then it's gonna make you. But then you have lots of freedom within it.
But I was thinking like in terms of like context and stuff, and you're like Scandinavian and you're like UK, like Shetland Island version. I was like, I'd like written down a bunch of concept words, and I'm like, these are very disparate, and I have to like match these concept words to like my life and my context, right? So like on a cliff, like foggy morning, these are things that almost 100% are gonna go into like things that I wear like when I'm out in nature, or like, you know, like it's very like it's more like me time type stuff. And then what I need to do is think about concept words that will like overlap with like being in a workspace, like being out in the world and the context that I'm out in the world, right? The environments that I'm out in the world. So I'm still playing, but I'll come up with those words maybe.
Oh, I like it.
Or not. So yeah. Did we do everything that we talked about?
I think we did. And actually, you know, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna make sure.
So in summary, we would love to hear more about your make nines, and if not make nines, then sort of any dreams that you have about your knitting. We would love to hear about your like most worns.
Yeah.
Your favorite patterns.
Yes.
We didn't do this today. What I would love to do next time is to do like what was the funnest knit that you did.
Oh.
Like what was the most enjoyable like process that you did.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know your little if you have ideas about like favorites, and if you leave them there, then we'll make a little list of them, and then we'll bring back from like this year's like the 2024 knits, or even like the knits before that like most match the prompt.
Yes.
And if you think that you want to do Marie Wallin with us, just let us know what Marie Wallin you're thinking about doing. As we are always so grateful for your engagement and the way that the inspiration just like builds and builds and grows inside of this community, because of you all and how you engage with each other, how you engage with us. Here's to another year of knitting.
Oh, I love it. That's beautiful as always. You always do such a nice little like summary. Lovely.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Bye-bye. And hopefully I will speak normally next time. We'll see. This is a never-ending illness, so maybe not.